Yo, I'm Ken Walker, running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf.
KJ Wright. Nate Burleson. You're watching NorCam.
You're watching NorCam.
What's going on, everybody? This is NorCam coming at you with another video. This time, a Norb chat with a very special guest that I've been trying to connect with for several years now, and we finally found a time, pinned each other down, and found a window that just worked. You may have seen some of his posts on either social media, on YouTube, on Instagram. If not, you'll definitely want to get to know this guy because his story is very inspiring, and you may just want to follow more about him because it's very inspiring what he has done at the very young age that he's had and what he's accomplished. And we're going to get into this because we have a lot to cover, and I want to make sure we get as much covered as we can during the short time that we have. So my special guest, a little intro about my special guest today. His name is Rudy Juarez, nicknamed The Flash. His handle on social media is JrzSaiyan. Let me just give a little quick bio about him. So Rudy Juarez III is a professional football player and a dynamic content creator, best known by his online alias, as I said, JrzSaiyan. A former standout at Bethel College, Rudy excelled as a multi-sport athlete in both football and track. His grit, athleticism, and drive have carried him over into a digital space where he shares his experiences on and off the field through vlogs, fitness routines, motivational content, and gaming videos as well. And on YouTube, Rudy has built a loyal following by blending athletic insight with raw storytelling. Whether he's breaking down football training sessions, traveling, or sharing real-life challenges, his content resonates with aspiring athletes and dream chasers, and even guys like me who aren't even in just really doing sports, but just find his story interesting and motivating. His content resonates with all types of viewers. With a personal mantra rooted in hard work, faith, and perseverance, Rudy has positioned himself as a voice for young athletes navigating life's ups and downs, both online and real life. And most important thing is he's a NorCam fan as well as a Seahawks fan. So I welcome to you one and only Rudy Juarez. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. It's been a long time coming.
It has been, yeah. We've been talking about, we don't really see each other in person, but we've had just kind of this online connection through many years of sharing love with the Seahawks, really. And just through that connection, I've watched your journey, seeing all your highlights of playing football, working out, going through injuries, and then to see where you're at today, man, it's going to be fun to recap your journey. So, but let me start with this part, just so people can understand why we're even connected here. Where did the connection begin? Because I remember meeting you for the first time, but I don't remember how we actually even got to the point where you're like, hey, let's meet up at the Seahawks game. So if you remember, remind me to refresh my memory, because I don't really remember.
So I have been a Seahawks fan, right? I grew up not really having a fan of a favorite team, or just favorite players. So it was just the perfect combination of I love beast mode. One day I saw the Seahawks wear the neon green jersey, the uniform. They wore one time, never wore again. And I remember just falling in love with the colors. At the time, neon was a big thing. I was always wearing neon green. So then I fell in love with the Seahawks, started following them more. Then Beast Mode went to the Seahawks, and then Legion of Boom, everything just started happening. So when I just went all in with the Seahawks, and my birthstone's Emerald City, everything just went in line. So when I became super Seahawks fan, I found your content on YouTube. So I was following you on YouTube and seeing everything that you would post, and I just got more into it. And I went to the New Orleans Seahawks game there at the Superdome. And I remember seeing you from a distance, and I was like, no, wait, is that Norb? And so I went up to you, and I was like, man, I'm a big fan. And I've been watching YouTube videos, and yeah, that's the first time we met. Took a picture, said, what's up? And then I remember I was going to Seattle for the first time with my mom and my little brother, and I messaged you, and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be here. If you're gonna go to the game, let me know. I would love to say hi. And
Yeah.
that's what happened. We ended
Well,
up
this
just
is the
meeting up
photo.
with-
Yeah, this is the photo from that meetup at the Superdome in New Orleans. I remember that was a bummer of a game because we lost that game, and I remember there was a Russell Wilson pass to Jermaine Kearse in the end zone. I remember I was in, I don't know where you were sitting, but I was at the end zone. It was coming towards us, and I remember if we'd have scored the touchdown, we would have won the game. And I remember threw the ball into the corner, and it just disappeared below the stands, and I couldn't. We were like, what happened? And then you just hear everybody cheering. And of course, we were on the road. So I was like, that's not good. And then incomplete. I don't remember what happened. But yeah, it was a disappointing game. But then I remember walking through the concourse and you came up and I was like, hey, what's going on, man? So, and then I think it was about a year, maybe a year or two later or something. Then we had this.
Like a year or two later.
Yeah.
At Seattle. It was, I don't remember who we played actually.
I don't remember either. It was this game though. It was in front of the event center, Touchdown City, they call it at the time. And you were there with some friends. I think you had your girlfriend or something too, right? You had a bit of a group with you at the time. Did you?
My little brother and my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was. And that's the last time I saw you in person. The rest of it has just all been online. So, yeah. So that's our connection, in case you guys are wondering. There's the 2 times we actually saw each other. So for any of you guys who are live on here, feel free to put any questions in the chat you might have for Rudy. But we're just going to kind of take a walk down your memory lane and just talk a little bit about your journey. Where did you start? So where did you grow up? Because I know you didn't grow up in the Seattle area. So where is home for you?
No. So I'm from Texas. I'm from Brownsville, Texas, the southern tip of Texas. So I'm border to Mexico. Texas is a big state and it's a football state, but South Texas is more known for soccer. And so that's kind of what it is down there. So I'm from Brownsville, Texas. And I grew up fighting, grew up boxing all my life. So both my brothers are professional boxers. So they kind of stayed on the path and I veered off a little bit. But yeah.
So boxing, and I'm reading your bio. You talked about how we're going to get into your football career, but you didn't even play you didn't play football all the way through high school, right? You really didn't pick it up until college. So I'll get into that because I want to find out that transition. But first, I want to talk about what you were doing before you got into college and playing football. So boxing, it was just in the family. Is this something that you have a family of boxers, and that's just something you did as well?
So I'm the oldest, right? So I'm the third. I got my dad's name. He's junior. My grandpa's the first. My dad grew up wanting to fight. He was a troublemaker, getting kicked out of school. So he didn't get really into boxing like that. And as soon as I think I was 6 or 7 and my little brother was about 5, he put us in boxing and the rest is history. We just grew up boxing. He was a truck driver at the time. And so I boxed for 10 years and I grew up to hate it because he pushed it the hardest on me. It was his dream to box. He was trying to live his dream through us. And
so he wanted that for you.
But
you didn't want it. That wasn't something that you saw in your future.
I grew up playing Madden. I grew up watching football. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play football. Every time I would go outside, I would play football with, my neighbors, the kids. Back in the day, we used to go to the street and play tackle football. At school, I'd be playing tackle football and, PE. That was my thing. I love running around with the ball, making people miss, scoring touchdowns. That was my thing.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So I'm going to get to that because we have a lot of videos and photos to show of you. But before I want to get to that, because I know Madden was a big part of just your love of football, but you talk a lot, even in one of your most recent videos on YouTube, you talked about the influence of Dragonball in your life.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know, I apologize, I don't even really know what Dragonball is. And obviously when I heard your video, I was like, wow, this is more than just a game. This is like kind of a whole culture. So talk to me. Some of you out there might know what Dragonball is. I'm for someone who doesn't know anything about it, tell me about what it is and why was it such a big impact in your life?
So Dragonball, obviously I grew up fighting. So that's one way Dragonball kind of pertains to my life. Dragonball is about Goku, a Saiyan. Saiyan's a warrior race. So I kind of, that was like an embodiment as me as a kid. You know, I was like, I'm a Saiyan, I'm a fighter, and he always worked hard to be better and better to defeat, you know, the foe. So I used that growing up in boxing, even though I didn't enjoy boxing the most, I still used it as motivation to be better, to get stronger, to fight harder. And that kind of just, you know, I played Dragon Ball on the PlayStation 2, Budokai Tenkaichi, the Budokai series, just growing up playing Dragon Ball as one of the main things in my life. And it kind of molded me into knowing that, you know, you work hard to get better. And it pertains to real life. You know, it taught me in real life, you know, the harder you work, the stronger you'll come out at the end to defeat the foe, to defeat whatever it is in life. And as I got older, I understood that to be really pertaining to life. And Dragon Ball has some of the most motivational speeches by Vegeta, by Goku, you know, by the characters that still, you know, I'll work out and I'll listen to it. Pre-game, I'll listen to it, you know, to this very day. So it's
so when you talk about the speeches and things, I heard of all this and I was thinking, this is from a video game? It's all from the game?
It's anime. It's anime.
Oh, it's anime. Okay.
Anime turned into a video game.
Yeah. Okay. I was missing the whole anime side of it. Okay, so there's two parts of it. Okay, got it. Okay, so obviously as a fighter, you had that aspect. Then you had the mentality and the philosophy and just the love of the anime, and then playing the games. And then I understand you became one of the best players of Dragon Ball in the world. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
And tell me about that, man, because that's a rare feat.
So I'm just like, everything I do, I'm competitive in. You know, so playing video games is always like Call of Duty, you know, try to be the best sniper, 1v1 people. Playing Dragon Ball, always trying to not lose. And so in the PlayStation 3, I played Ultimate Tenkaichi, and that was a real game where I really like focused on winning and not losing. And so I became number one on the leaderboards. And at the time, there was no like screen share or anything, so I didn't really post that on anything, right? There was not like a way for me to record it other than like a camera at the time, which if I did, I don't know where that's at. And so when the PlayStation 4 came out and Dragon Ball Xenoverse came out, that I played like crazy. And this was before football. So this was in between quitting boxing and then before football. So, you know, I blew up on YouTube because I was ranked number one in the world in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And I made YouTube videos and I played against, you know, some of the top YouTubers in the Dragon Ball space. And that was a crazy ride because, you know, I was making money off YouTube. I was influential in the Dragon Ball community when it came to gaming. And so to this day, like, I went back to work for Disney for a little bit. I went back to work for Disney and ended up not working there, but I was there for a couple of weeks and I went to work out in a gym in Florida, right? I was there. That was like my first day in Florida back in like 7 years. So I went to work out in Florida, and at the gym, someone comes up to me like, "Hey, you're Rudy, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" He's like, "You're JrzSaiyan. I followed you from back in the Dragon Ball days, and I started working out because of you." This is years later. Like, this is so much later, and someone came up to me at the gym randomly in a state I'm not from, at a random gym, and told me that I inspired him to work out and to, you know, to be better at Dragon Ball. And so, yeah, I've always been very competitive. So even before football, I just always went all in into whatever I do. And so I was like that at Dragon Ball too.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Best of the best. I can see why you've always been so competitive, and like, if you're going to go for something, you go all in. So I want to acknowledge we got Hoop Craze and we got Kick Up in the chat. Kick Up wants to know, what position do you play? We're going to get into that right now. Yeah, running back.
Yeah, running back.
All right. Well, let's talk a little football now. Kind of now the transition to how you got into football. Obviously, you were motivated by Madden. You love the sport, but how do you go from a guy who didn't even play in high school to be able to suddenly make a college team? Talk about that journey to transition.
So the crazy thing is, right, my dream's always been to play college football. And so as I got older, the more rebellious I got with boxing. I started showing up to train in like blue jeans, nothing to change in, jacket, and my dad still forced me to train in that, so it didn't matter. But eventually I got fed up and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I quit boxing. I told him I quit. I said, all right, you can't play football. And then I joined tennis, I joined swimming, I joined basketball, I joined everything to piss him off, right? And so eventually he was like, all right, whatever, you could join football. And so my junior year of high school, I joined the football team.
Oh, so you did play some in high school.
I joined the team. I didn't play. I never,
you just because you were.
I just skinny. I was 125 pounds. Yeah, I was on the bench. I was 125 pounds. I was small. I was skinny, and they just never gave me a chance.
Is this you? Is this your high school?
That's me in 8th grade.
So you actually had a little 8th grade picture too. Okay, all right, but this is the only photo I have of you from pre-college. So I can see there's those antenna arms, man. Your pants are like falling off you there.
That's a crazy picture. I look just like that still now. It's okay.
No, I think the legs are a little thicker now, but.
So I joined my high school team, and I didn't get practice reps. I didn't get game reps. I did go in one time, and it was to block. But you know what? When I was in that one time to block, I blocked my ass off. It was a screen pass to the left to the star receiver, Lucas Olivares, and he took the screen to the house. And I was on the opposite side of the field blocking, and I ran the whole way blocking my receiver, to help him score the touchdown.
Nice.
And that's just the type of player I was. And so in high school, there was one thing that the kids that didn't play, we were the rejects of the team. We were special teams, kickoff, get a concussion. And so that was the only time I was ever on the field. And so I went out there and I made tackles. I went out there and I ran into double teams, and I was the fastest person on the field. And it was apparent on the kickoff team when I was 20 yards, 15 yards ahead of everyone. And so I had maybe 2 or 3 tackles on kickoff. We didn't score much. We were an awful team. So there wasn't many chances.
And this is Texas, right? Texas football is huge in Texas, right? So I know that the programs down there are like uber competitive. So I guess I'm not that surprised you didn't make the first team, considering you hadn't played football up to that point, because you're walking into this high school program where probably these kids have been playing since they're like elementary school, I'm guessing. Yeah,
exactly. So in middle school, I remember I joined the team. I practiced a little bit. I played 2 games on B team, and then I failed my classes, so I couldn't go anymore. And then my dad didn't like the whole me focusing not on boxing, so that was a little bit of a problem. So I ended up having to quit anyways. And so those kids grew up, playing from little league to middle school to the middle school out of school league, and then high school are all together. So it was, football is very political. So I didn't get a chance to even be on the field, and that's okay. So I finished my high school season with a really awesome block and a couple tackles on kickoff, and that was it, man. I remember walking the senior walk, and I was crying, and I was crying to my parents, and I was like, "That's it. That's my football dream down the drain." It was so hard to believe, and I still remember how I felt at the time. I was just like, that's really it. And so that happened, and then I think a month or 2 later, or a couple months later, 2 months later, my dad's friend, you got the little semi-pro leagues back home, and my dad's friend's like, "Hey, we need someone. Is Rudy willing to play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm willing to play." And so I was the quarterback, and I was the only person that showed up to practice. Me and Cesar was the name of my dad's friend, and I played 2 games of semi-pro, and that's the most I ever touched the ball, and I was just running around trying to survive pretty much. We didn't win a game, and we played a San Antonio team. We got destroyed, and then we played another team from Mercedes, Texas, and we got destroyed, and then everyone got hurt except for me. But that was so fun. I had so much fun. Because I played for the first time, and I was running around, and I was it was cool. It was cool. And so after that, football's done. I'm going to college back home, just community college. I'm gaming. I'm doing really well when it comes to gaming. And I went through a breakup with my high school sweetheart, and that kind of set off a I went into like depression, I guess you could say, and just didn't get out of my room. Didn't, at the time I didn't work out or anything, so I was just like gaming, not leaving my room. I wasn't talking to anyone, and my brothers, they had boxing tournaments, and so my little brother Omar, he came to my room, said I have a boxing tournament in Laredo, Texas. You're gonna have to get up. You're gonna come. Like, you're not gonna be in this room just feeling sorry for yourself. And so, yeah, he's the reason why I got out. And I was there we were there at the hotel. He had a run, and he was like, "Why don't you take out all this anger and pain on weights?" And that was the first time I touched weights. So I started working out, and I liked the way it felt to channel all that, anger and pain on something else and go all into that. And so that was the first day of my workout journey, and I went all into working out. And I bought as soon as we got home, I bought some pre-workout, bought some protein, bought some creatine. I went all in, like 1,000. I'm the type of person that if I focus
you're either all in or all out. Right?
So I remember I was just, I was very self-conscious because you saw how small I was. I mean, I was pretty much that small in my senior year of high school, and so I worked out at home for the first month with my dad's old dumbbells, ice chest cooler. I was running, jump roping. I knew how to work out because of boxing, but I could never lift. I was very weak. I was very self-conscious about how I looked, and it's kind of dumb looking back. But when you're young, you don't really know, and you just kind of let other people what you perceive they'll think, get to you.
Yeah.
And so I went all in. And within 2 weeks, I started seeing results. I got a little bigger. I get a little more shredded, and I've always been very skinny all my life, and I started seeing some size on me. And so, because I saw it in 2 weeks, it motivated me more. So, started working out harder, pushing myself more. And I did work out in high school with the football team, right? Horrible. I was so weak. I could not bench like 35 pounds on the sides. Like, I couldn't squat. As a boxer, all you do is run and punch the bag.
Yeah, it's more cardio, but not so. Yeah, because you're not really bulking up, right? You're trying to keep your weight down and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, and if you lift weights back then, you're kind of with this mindset, old school mindset, like it'll get you slow and everything. So I started, when I would squat with the football team, I would start getting cramps in my hamstrings. So I didn't even squat. I was very weak. And so
you skipped the leg day.
Journey, yeah. So I was like, working out, gaining weight was the hardest thing in the world for me. So I went all in, and in 5 months, I went from 125 to 175.
Jeez,
so
50 pounds. Damn.
And it was, I ate Panda Express every day. It wasn't a clean bulk. It was a very dirty bulk. And it was newbie gains. Like when you first start working out, that's the most gains you'll get. So I stayed at 175 for like 3 or 4 years. But my body just, got more lean. The muscles started, showing up. I went less fat. But when I gained the muscle, I was like, wow, the hardest thing in the world for me was working out, gaining muscle. And I did it, right? It was to combat the whole breakup and everything. But eventually, my mindset flipped. And I was like, I put everything I had into this. If I can do this, I can do anything I put my mind to. And I was like, I want to play college football. I don't know how. I have no film. I have nothing. I have no connections. I'm from South Texas. You don't get any looks in South Texas. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Before you go into that, let me just acknowledge some people in the chat before we turn to that chapter. So we got people watching here. We got Hoop Craze is in here. Very good stuff. He wants to know, are you a Seahawks fan? I think you missed my intro at the beginning. Are you a Seahawks fan? He wants to know.
I'm a diehard Seahawks fan.
Yes, indeed. JSD says at the end of the day, it's heart over height.
Yep.
Let's see. And Kickup wants to know, what games do you play right now? Are you still gaming?
Every once in a while. Right now it's Pokemon. Right now it's just Pokemon, to be honest. A lot of Pokemon.
You played Dragon Ball? Is Dragon Ball a thing of the past now? Is that kind of back then?
No, I don't have a TV, and my PlayStation's in the corner, so I just haven't hooked it up.
Oh, so you just not really have access to it right now, but it's not necessarily dead to you. It's just in hibernation.
it's in hibernation. I've been traveling so much, so I'm never really like home. So it's kind of the thing.
JSD says balls to the wall type of guy. I like it. All right, so you got some people who can relate to you, man. And Kiko says cramping is the worst thing as an athlete. Oh yeah, I remember the first time
it's still the worst thing. Still the worst thing.
I didn't know what I experienced two things. You know, I played some football, you know, through high school, never after that, and ran track. I remember the first time I ever cramped. I was actually in Japan as an exchange student. I was running, I was doing the hurdles, and I'd never hurdled before. I just sprinted and jumped. But I remember we kept doing it over and over, and I remember my right calf was starting to get tight, and I was like, "That's weird." And then it just finally went. I was like, "What the heck is this?" I was in so much. I never felt anything like that. Where, you know, it's hard to describe. If you've never had a cramp before, it's hard to describe what that is because your own muscle, like twisting on itself and torturing your own body, right? It's terrible.
Horrible.
Not a fun thing to do. And then I experienced actually that year 2017 when I saw you in New Orleans. I tore my hamstring for the first time. I'd never torn anything in my life. And first time I ever tore it. I wasn't playing sports. I was doing a Bruno Mars song for my parents' fundraising event. They asked me, "Can you perform a little Bruno Mars or something?" You know, I was like, "Okay, sure." I came from the Seahawks game. I was dressed in all my stuff, and then I, was sitting around for like 2 hours waiting for my turn. I didn't stretch or nothing, and then I go out there and I'm doing my thing, and it's like singing is fine. But then I did, the Bruno Mars, the James Brown split. We do basically like a hurdle stretch. You kind of do splits. You drop down and come back up. Well, I dropped down without any stretching. And my hamstring, when I went to the bottom, I went hard. I was like all in, and I just felt it. I was like, what the heck is this? My whole leg like swelled up. It was all purple from the internal bleeding on that. And then I had to go to watch the Seahawks lose to the Titans the following week on crutches. So it was like, man, this has made the whole thing a pain. But at least I got to go to the game. But anyway, that's my experience with it.
Hamstring tear is horrible. I had to deal with that, and so that is.
You tore one too?
Horrible. Yeah, in Korea.
Oh man, jeez.
I didn't know it was torn either. I thought it was just a bad pull. Nope, it was a tear.
You have to get surgery on it, or did it
heal
wasn't
itself? Fully torn.
That's what I had. It was partial torn, so it healed on its own. But it's never been the same since.
Very long time. It's a very also that hamstring. The reason why it's so weak and it tore is because they took a piece of my hamstring from my ACL.
Oh, because of your earlier knee injury. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So,
let's see. We got some more questions here. JSD wants to know, where do you play? We're going to get into that in just a second. It's quite the list. Pops P, bananas are my cheat code, not to cramp. And it says, back in my playing days, a torn hamstring was a killer. All right, so we got some athletes in here who can relate. Well, let's talk about your college. You were about to get into how does a guy from South Texas find his way onto a college football team? So let's get into that.
So, college football is like all the best athletes from high school. They go on to play college and they fight their way to try to make a college roster, try to play in college. And so for me to even do that, it's like not even playing in high school, sitting on the bench, it's like a 0% chance. But there, 0.00001, and there's always a chance, man. And so I needed a way to get out of South Texas. And I was, obviously I wasn't completely over my ex. It was like 6-7 months after. And the year before, we had applied for the Disney college program. So she was on my mind. Disney was on my mind. So I applied for the Disney college program just to get it out of my mind. I didn't expect anything of it. We got declined the year before. So it was like not in my mind to actually get accepted. So I ended up going through the whole process. Right? Still not expecting to get accepted. A couple months go by, like 3 months later. I'm trying to figure out a way to play college football, but man, there's no way. Like there's no routes, for someone that doesn't have film, that doesn't have is not from a good part of Texas where football is scouted. So like I told my dad, we were at my brother's elementary ceremony, and I told my dad, you know what? I'll go pro in boxing. Disney didn't accept me. There's no way for me to play college football. Like, there's nothing. I kid you not. 5 minutes later, I checked my emails. I got accepted by Disney. And my dad was like, my dad was so sad.
Oh,
'Cause
his boxing dreams were
hopes up.
crushed again.
Yeah. He's like, you seriously got my hopes up. I'm like, I didn't know I got accepted.
So what did that mean? What did getting accepted in that program mean?
It was a way outside of my hometown. I just felt like I needed a way because South Texas is just not a hotspot. I mean, Austin, Dallas, Houston, anywhere else in the middle of Texas is where you find football talent. Being a kid from South Texas already puts you in a super disadvantage because we got a lot of soccer talent. We got a lot of cross country talent, whatever Mexicans are good at. There's not, Mexicans aren't very prevalent in the football.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of Mexican players in the NFL,
Yeah.
much like you don't see a lot of Filipino players in the NFL. A couple spread out here and there, but yeah. I got you.
And usually, if you do see a Mexican, it's either a kicker or it's a lineman. That's, a big guy who can probably eat a lot of tacos and a guy who can kick. So it's a soccer ball, So it's like,
right.
So, I saw Disney as a way out of my hometown and to find a way to make it happen. So I finally left to Disney. I was working as the lifeguard there. I was living in Disney World, Disney housing, living inside of Disney. It was an amazing time. My first time living alone was living inside of Disney with other Disney workers. And it was just like an amazing thing,
So you're working, you're living there, you're working. So it's basically like a Disney World job. Is that what it was? It was like a paid internship.
Yeah, it's a Disney college program.
That's pretty cool because I love Disneyland.
I recommend that for any young kid who's right out of high school, don't know what you're gonna do, don't know like if you need like an extra semester of something, go to Disney. I mean, working there is
heard of this program.
It's great because you get to work with kids all over the world. I say kids. I was a kid back then, but now So you get to work with people from all over the world, and you get to learn from Disney, and you can also take classes at the Disney University. They get very full very fast, but you get to work from like learn from the executives, and they have events. And and if you're like a single male, so many girls. So like for me, it was heaven on earth, especially coming out of a breakup, and I had just started working out. I started getting female attention. It was a whole thing, right? It was amazing. I was in heaven. But my main thing was like I went to Disney to find a way to play college football. Right. So as soon as I got there, I told my bosses like, hey, I'm going to be calling out of work a lot. My main focus is playing college football. And they're like, I guess they've never heard that before. They probably never heard that before. I'm like 99% sure. But I was so upfront with them. They're like, okay, we'll work with you because Disney is very strict. So I did call out of work a lot. And if you let's say you call out of work, that's a point. 3 points is a reprimand. 3 reprimands, you're terminated from Disney. And then there's other instances where you get, things are a little more strict. You get more points for no calls, no shows. It's the whole thing. So I called out of work to hit legs. I called out of work to work out, like to train. If I really felt like I needed to train harder. And it was tough because, Disney really tested how bad do you want it? Because when I first got there, I needed to work out after work. By the time I got out of work, it was at 1 a.m. because I would have to be there till the hotel closed. Then I would take the bus, like the Disney working bus, and then head to Vista Way. And then I worked out at 1 a.m. to like 1 a.m. I ate, and then I would work out from like, let's say 2:30 to like 5 a.m. And then I would go to sleep, wake up, go to my shift. I had the worst shift because I was a college program member. You get the worst shifts when you're the younger, internships and all that. So eventually, through the hard work, I felt like I met some people at the gym, at the Gold's Gym. Back in the day, used to be a Gold's Gym there. I forget what it's there now, but I used to call that. That's why I used to call out because the gym at the Disney apartment complex was like a hotel gym. They had a few weights, they had dumbbells.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot. It's the kind of casual piece of equipment.
Yeah, and we only had one treadmill because I broke one treadmill. I broke the motor because I had it max incline, max speed, and I put too much force into it, and so I actually broke one treadmill. So I needed a gym, so I got a gym membership at the Gold's Gym. And I used to take the bus, the Disney bus from Vista Way to Walmart, and then walk an hour to the Gold's Gym. And I would do that. I would have to call out to spend, it took a lot of time to get there. So I would have to call out to do like a really hard leg day and sprint that day. And I used to use the curved treadmill. And that's where I kind of really started fine tuning my technique to sprint, because I was fast, but I wasn't like this fast, I was very raw. And so eventually I met people at Goals. I met other athletes, other college athletes, basketball athletes. And so I started picking their brain, learning how they work out, started going from like bodybuilding workout to like athletic workouts, started transitioning to really honing into my skills. And then I started working out there. We had like a campgrounds for Disney, like the people that work there. And so I used to sprint there all the time, do change of direction drills and everything. I used to train there. And eventually I felt ready, right? So I was like, okay, how do I go about this? I guess I just call every college here in Florida and see if someone has something coming up that maybe I can run, show something, 7-on-7, anything, right? Just see if there's an opportunity. So I called a bunch of coaches, emailed all the coaches I could in Florida. One coach called me back and was like, sorry, I was in a meeting. We got a college showcase, like a tryout thing in like 2 days in Fort Lauderdale.
Now, is this Bethel College, or is this a different?
No, this is
okay.
University of Fort Lauderdale. It was a brand new community college, a brand new JUCO that was opening up that following year. And so they said, we have an opportunity. We have a tryout in 2 days. There's your opportunity. And I was like, yes, sir. Thank you. Hung up. And I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. Something. This is like
an opportunity to show what you got.
Opportunity. So I called Disney and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for the next couple of days. I'll see you in a couple of days. And so he called out, grabbed my cleats, grabbed a backpack, bought a bus ticket, and I set off from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale. And then I ran from the bus station of Fort Lauderdale like 2 miles or something to the tryout.
Wow.
And I made it because I had like an hour to get there. So I ran and it was like 2 or 3 miles, and I ran and I got there and I made it like 5 minutes before we started. So I signed the paperwork, whatever, like the waivers and everything. And then the first thing we did was a 40-yard dash. And so I ran a 4.38 and automatically I got their attention. Yeah. And the rest of the thing goes by, right? The rest of the showcase, and it's 1-on-1, 7-on-7. And for me, it was like a dream come true to be in the atmosphere, to be with other players that are super talented in the South Florida region and, be competing and showing out. And so after the tryout, the coach comes up to me and he was like, hey, man, you were the fastest one here. You ran a 4.38. And I had to run it twice because they didn't believe the first time, right? Especially because like a Mexican kid comes out of nowhere, runs the fastest time. Like it wasn't, they're just like,
I want to make sure they didn't screw up or something. And this is after you had to run 2 miles from the bus to get to the tryout.
Yeah, and they didn't know that. So I told them about that. They're like, why didn't you tell anyone? I'm like, I don't know, y'all. I can't, that's not, I don't want to bother you guys. You guys are doing this. Like, you
don't want to sound like you're making excuses or something, right? You just want to do your thing. I just want to
be there. Exactly. Yeah. I had the opportunity. I had to make it. I made no excuses. I got there. And so he's like, how would you like to be a Fort Lauderdale Eagle? And, I started crying. And I was like, I would love that. I called my mom. I was like, I made it. It was amazing. And so I went back to Disney and I self-terminated my contract for Disney, and I packed up my stuff and I left to Fort Lauderdale like a month later. And I was there for the summer, and that was very rocky because it was a brand new JUCO, brand new junior college, and very, very small. They didn't even have a campus. It was like a office building that had like 2 rooms, and that's kind of where we took the classes. And I had a very, very bad GPA. I didn't mention this, but I hate school, and I was very bad at school, and I was not very motivated. When I first started working out, I used to skip class and go work out at the rec center at my community college. So I was flunking out of school. I had like a 1 GPA, 1.0. That's pretty much what I had. It was awful. Yeah. Do your studies. Yeah. Don't fall into that. Right. So I was there and I was taking summer classes because my GPA was so low, and I picked it up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I took some courses there, and one of the coaches took off with our rent money midsummer, right? Very sketchy because it was like a brand new JUCO, not very established, and so things can go very south very fast. With the infrastructure not being there. They had the vision, they had the thought, but you don't know the people you bring in. Some of the students they're bringing in at the time, they didn't go to school there. They were just on the football team. They're kind of like putting them as someone else's name in the school. It was very shady. And I started seeing that. And then I really noticed it when one of the coaches took off with our rent money midsummer. And so the other coach is like, hey, this is an unfortunate situation, but we need more money from y'all. And us being there, shout out to my friends Kenny and Smoot at the time, my roommates, and we were just like, nah, man, like we paid you all the money. We're here till August 1st. Like or August 10th. Like that's when we're here till. We paid until then. We paid for the summer. And then, after that, we figured it out. And so that's exactly what we did. And when that happened, I took it upon myself. I was like, I'm not letting this dream die. I'm somewhere. I've showed that I can do something. I have something under my belt. I ran a 4.38. I have an official time. And I went back home. My mom, flew me out back home because it was just a crazy scenario. I was living off the money I had made in Disney, which wasn't much because I didn't go to work much. Like I was very.
Because you're taking time off to work out and do these other things, right?
I should have been fired about 3 or 4 times. I had 21 points. And the only reason why I wasn't fired is because the managers liked me when I was there. I had good energy. I was working hard and everything. They understood my situation. They knew I would leave. So they kind of like pushed back, putting down my stuff in the system. And so by the time I left on my own accord, I should have been fired a couple of times. And, bless them for not doing that and working with me. And so I went back home and I recorded myself doing drills, running, working out. At the time I was finally strong. I was lifting 225 for 10, 13 reps. I was strong. I was fast. I was bigger. I had the look now, I had more going for me. So I recorded myself working out and running and doing drills.
How tall are you again, man? 5'10".
5'10".
Okay. You and I about the same height. Yeah.
So I took that film because of what happened in Fort Lauderdale. I went back and I was there for the rest of the summer. I used that to train against those athletes because they're so talented. And it was so talented, man. And it's crazy because they were lazy, but they're so talented. They could get off the couch and just run a 4.3, it was like that. And for me, I had to work 3 times as hard to be on the same level as them. But I love that. Like, to me, that motivated me. Like, I had to be on their level, if not better. And they could be more talented than me, but they were not going to work harder than me. And I would take that over being talented any day because that pushed me. And so I message every single college in the United States, junior college, D1, D2, well, not D1s, right? Any D2, D3s, NAIAs, every single college in the US. I messaged every single college. I had like a 1.12 GPA, so I didn't
that wasn't
qualify
helping
for most colleges, right? Yeah. So 2 colleges got back to me: Graceland in Iowa and Lindenwood in Missouri or Illinois. Lindenwood Belleville in Illinois, and Lindenwood Belleville really wanted me. They were really adamant and having me. And what set them apart was, they called me all the time. They offered me a scholarship, even with my GPA. And they're like, we will sign you. We will give you a scholarship, but you have to pick up that GPA like this year, like now. And so I did. And because I was like, for football, I'll do anything. And so I was there for the summer in Fort Lauderdale. And then I transferred to the school in Illinois.
Is this Lindenwood right here?
That is Lindenwood, baby.
Okay.
We actually got voted for having the most hideous field in the U.S.
I was looking at that. I thought Boise State's field was weird. You got this red and white, like, American flag stripe design going on here.
And I love that field. So that school closed down, but I was there, man. Lindenwood, my first school. They gave me 45 like Rudy. They just happened to give me that number. So,
what a coincidence, huh?
Crazy. So I transfer there. And then I was like, this is a college experience, man. Like, I was with a real college football team. And I got there late because of the whole, I had to stay in summer school there in Fort Lauderdale. So I couldn't get there earlier than a certain time. So I didn't go through fall camp. I didn't go through any of that. I show up, I had to do paperwork. I had to finish doing like the NAIA stuff because I didn't have to do any of this at the, the JUCO. It was just like you go practice. You're practicing against a semi-pro team that plays for like Chad Ochocinco's like semi-pro league and Broward, So it's like a whole thing. And so when I got to Lindenwood, I had to go through the paperwork. I had to get insurance. I had to get all this stuff. And then finally, I got pads. Finally, I got to practice. And so they said, what position do you play? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Just put me on kickoff. Because as you remember, that's the only thing I did in high school. Kickoff. So that was like, that is my way of being on the field no matter what. And so that picture is actually after kickoff. I hit like a hit stick, forced fumble, and I was so happy celebrating off of that. And so, yeah, man, they're like, well, you're either going to be a running back or a linebacker. I'm like, oh, linebacker, no. I'll be a running back. So very first practice, full pads against the starting defense. First time I grabbed the ball, I scored a touchdown. Ooh. Never played running back in my life. I did not know I could play running back, but I was fast, I was quick, and I had boxing like instincts, like reflexes, right? So I made people miss a lot. And it wasn't like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just moving. For me, it was like dodging a punch. So boxing has blessed me with the way I played because I'm very reactive. So even though I didn't know what I was doing as a running back, I played Madden. I love running the ball. So I knew the fundamentals of like
from their own 13.
Like,
Juarez in motion.
Because I played Madden.
He gets the pitch. He gets the edge. He's gone, folks, and there he goes. Nobody's gonna catch that kid. 87 yards, Rudy Juarez.
I knew how to read defense because of Madden. So I played running back, right? And that first time, practice squad in college, I touched the ball, kid you not, about 40 times because the defensive coordinator was so mad that this random kid that put on the pads for the first time, never really played football in his life, was torching the starting defense. And I had to run the same play over and over and over again. Every time I made a big play, it was either a touchdown or a big run. He's like, again. I'm like, bro, they know what I'm going to do. Like, come on. Like, this is a starting defense. And it's not like thud. This is hitting, right? This is early on in like the season. So it's almost at the end of training camp. And so it was amazing, man. It was amazing. And by the end of that season, I was practice squad, right? I was like a red shirt. And so by the end of that season, I had the starting defense, Division I bounce backs, kids that were all state in their states telling me like, man, you're such a great running back. You should be playing. And so that was insane. I'm finally living my dream, right? I'm finally playing college football. I'm not in a game, but I'm finally like, I'm here. Like there's no more like trying to make it. I'm still trying to make the field, but there's no. But I can
finally
see
step through the door. You're finally in the game.
I'm there. Like I'm there. So the next season comes along.
Yeah, and hold on. So before you do that, let me just go back to some of the viewers' questions here, just to kind of keep people in the loop. So let's see. Kickoff wanted to know: is he a Seahawks fan? Yep, we've definitely established he is not a Cowboys fan. Seahawks fan from Texas.
Big Seahawks fan.
Kickoff wants to also know: are you in Europe right now or the States?
I'm in Europe. I'm in France. Yes, I'm in France right now.
So yeah, and we're getting to this, but yeah, he plays in professional football in Europe. You're in France now with how do you say the name? The Clermont-Servals? Yeah,
the Clermont-Ferrand-Servals.
Yeah, but you just signed with another team, right, for this coming year?
Mexico. Yeah, for Mexico.
So they're going back towards the U.S. a little bit, south of the border, but yeah, we'll be playing in Mexico in 2025, and we'll definitely get to that as well. Let's see. Kickoff wants to know, I'm trying to bulk up, Rudy. What should I eat? I guess that's a pretty. I'm sure there's a lot of questions to that, but you got an elevator pitch answer for that?
It depends on the person. If you're a skinny person, like I've always eaten a lot, fast metabolism. So it wasn't really what I ate. It was how hard I worked out. The way I trained for boxing, I needed to work out the same way. I couldn't work out like a normal person at the gym, go lift, normal. I had to like work out multiple times a day. I had to do super high reps because my body just didn't work well with like low reps. I had to push myself a lot because of boxing, all the running. It's like cardio for weight. So I had to really go hard in the weight room. So yeah, but eat a lot. I don't know. Chicken and rice.
A lot of protein.
A lot of protein, a lot of carbs.
Yeah. Pop's P says 438. That's crazy fast. Wow. Let's see. Pops P also wants to know: Did you run track? And
I did.
We're going to get into that too. Yes, you did.
Yeah,
that was your two sports, right? You were football.
Yeah.
You were track, but you also did some other things, which I'm going to ask you about as well. That's about my next question. Kickoff says he could also see you as a safety. And
I did a couple plays at safety in Norway.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, yeah, he had the right idea about you then. I mean, fast, kind of smaller built, makes sense, right? Because you'd be a pretty undersized linebacker, maybe not, depending on what the competition is.
But, competition. But Earl Thomas was my favorite player, so I always loved seeing safety. But I was not Earl Thomas. I was Earl Thomas when he got the ball. I was not Earl Thomas, defensive player. I've never been like I don't know. I'm not a hitter.
Yeah.
I can be. I guess
your thing was speed and elusiveness, right? You were fast and you knew how to get around guys, make a miss.
Yeah. I'm not like shifty. You're not gonna see me run around like Odell or something. I'm not shifty like JSN, but I'm a hard runner, so I'll run straight, I'll run fast, and if someone gets in my way, I'm not afraid to run through them. So that's a good thing about me.
Pops P also wants to know, how is Europe? Always wanted to go there.
I love Europe so much. So much. I love Europe. That's why I'm back. Yeah.
You've been there for what now, 3 years playing football?
This is my second year.
Second year.
Because Spain, Norway, I went Australia, Korea, and then France.
Man, we got to show some clips too. I got a kick out of the Korean clips because you actually have Korean commentators. I've never heard Korean commentators on football. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Andrew,
it's crazy to hear my name in different languages.
Yeah,
too.
Rudy. Kickup says he says I'm skinny and I wanted to play basketball, but coach said get my weight up. So I guess you got another guys trying to get bulked up.
Yeah. Yes, man. It's just hit the weight room hard, really. And eat as much as you can, really. If you're young, you gotta eat. There's no way around it. Work out hard, you gotta eat, and then take some protein, take some creatine. I mean, there's no really shortcut around it. I believe the work you put in is what you get out. So that's how it worked for me, and that's how I believe it is. People don't work out hard enough to see results. Unfortunately, you gotta push yourself.
It really is kind of the theme to everything, right? Whether you're playing video games, whether you're in school, whether you're doing a sport, whether it's your work or your passion, there's no getting around the hard work, right? I mean, you got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to see the results. I mean, that's kind of just the reality of life. So, I mean, it's cool that you've applied that in so many different areas, but most importantly, your dream of playing football. In fact, a couple of guys are asking from Andrew A. wants to know, Rudy the Flash, you're going to be a Seahawks player this year because you're the MVP like DK. And then Hoop Craze also wants to know, do you still plan on making the NFL? Or are you content at where you at?
So, the thing, that's a whole thing, because coming out of college is kind of, that's where my mind went. I'm like, try to make the NFL or play overseas. And there's just a lot of reality to things. I don't know if you want to get into that now. We can get into that later. But it's just, it was a tough decision to make, but I definitely made the right one. Making the NFL is hard, man. And it's more than being talented. A lot of luck's involved. Being in the right situation, being at the right place, coming from a small school is not easy. I was willing to try to find a way to make it. But I don't want to sit the bench, man. I want to play football.
Right. Yeah, it's that whole thing, like be on a really big team with a name but never play, or be on a smaller one where you'll actually get to play and contribute, right? It's my girls play volleyball, and we used to have that discussion, like, well, you can play on this club team, they're not as good, but you'll probably play more, or do you want to be on the better team where you're going to have to really compete to get playing time? It's tough, right?
And there's nothing wrong with either or, right? The way I saw it was, a lot of kids, not everyone gets to play Division I football. A lot of kids go to a Division I team, sit the bench, never play in their life, end up quitting, never see the field. If that kid would have went to NAIA, a D2, a D3, they could have been an All-American.
Right.
It's a whole different route you're taking in life too. Because if you play, you get highlights. If you get highlights, you get eyes on you. If you make splash plays, no matter where you're at, you're going to get seen.
Right.
And so that's kind of the thing. That's why I had the choice when I had the choice to go to Bethel. It was between a D2 and Bethel, which is the NAIA. And I saw Bethel was the number one rushing team in the nation in every single division, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO. Number one rushing team in the nation. The fifth string running back got reps. I was like, I'm going there.
All right, let's talk about Bethel. Your trust. Actually, there was one last thing about the college experience before then. I want you to talk about this at Lindenwood. This is the picture of the let me split screen here. This is the Lindenwood University competitive cheer and dance national championships team, and who's this guy? Who's this guy right here? So you weren't just a track guy. You weren't just a football guy. You were on the cheer and dance team? Talk about that, man.
Hey, man, look. I'm an athlete, bro. I'm an athlete. So, I was a 3-sport collegiate athlete. And I was playing football. I was running track. I was running track for football to get faster, refine my running mechanics. I used to run like a caveman. I still kind of do, but if there's a way to get better at football, I'm going to do it.
What does that mean, running like a caveman? Explain.
I ran so heavy on my feet, because I didn't know how to run. I self-taught myself how to run fast. In track, you're very efficient with your running. There's so much technique to running fast. I had no idea. On the football field, I'm running past everyone. On the track, I'm getting dusted. And it was insane. And, a lot of people, they can get discouraged. But for me, I lost that track race. I would go up to the person who won. I was like, hey, man, asking him questions, picking his brain. Like, how can I get faster? I'm trying to get fast football. And you could tell I outweigh the dudes I'm running like 30, 40 pounds. So you can tell I'm a football player by the way I run, by the way I look. But it was just like, I didn't run track in high school. I didn't run track in middle school. In elementary, I was the fastest kid in school from 3rd grade and on. And I actually got the athlete of the year as a 5th grader for being the fastest kid, the most athletic kid. But I didn't do it growing up like that, right? And so when I got to college, I was like, okay, I need to run track. I need to get faster. I don't care what I place. Like, I'm just doing this for fun, for football. And so I was already a football track athlete. And I was in college and I was partying and everything. And I ended up meeting the guy next to me on my right, so on the left in the picture. Yes, Alex. So I meet him one night because I'm throwing gummy bears at him a little, like, I'm and so I'm having fun with my friends, right? Ends up being that he's from South Texas too. So we kind of started talking and, started talking a little bit, and I get his Instagram, didn't think anything of it. He messages me like a couple days later, like, hey, man, what do you think about the cheer team? I'm like, y'all are cool, I guess. I've seen y'all at the games. Like, what do you mean? He's like, no, what do you think about doing cheer? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I play football, I run track, I boxed all my life. Cheer's opposite end of the spectrum of things, of all the stuff that I do. And he's like, well, you know what? Why don't you come to a practice? Come check it out. And he was a good dude, so I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not? It was after football. So I was going, school, waking up 5 a.m. Well, yeah, Lindenwood was crazy. It was like 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. weights, workout, school, go to track practice, right after track, go to football practice.
Man,
then I went to cheer.
You did track and football back to back practices. Damn.
I had to do track, and most of the practices was on my own because I told them I would do it, but I couldn't miss anything of football. I couldn't let it interfere. And so I was willing to do whatever it takes, and that's just the way I am. Whatever it takes, man. So I was like, I'll do the track training before the coach would come out with me, do the track training before football, and then during football, I'm seeing the track runners do the same workout. And so I went to the cheer practice, and I was watching, and the cheer Miss Rachel just threw me in there and had me like stunting with the girls, and I'm just like I came to watch, not to cheer. And so
they're like, we need you, get in there.
Yeah, and I'm like grabbing girls. I'm back. I'm like, what am I doing? And insane. And so they're like, so what'd you think? I was like, I don't know. This is not my thing. Like, I don't dance, first of all. So there wasn't much dancing, but like choreography, I don't like. It's just.
But you got to be strong. I mean, I see those guys when they do the stunts. They're tossing the girls, catching them. So you had to be strong. So that was an important skill set of yours.
And that's what was a plus for me, that I was strong. And I like, when you throw the girls up high, you have to catch them because they can hit the ground and get really hurt. And for me, I saw it as like catching a football, so I never let them hit the ground.
A very big football. A very cute big football.
Yeah. And man, it was crazy because I'm like with all these like really attractive girls. I'm like, that's my my first year at the school and everything, and so I'm like, it's just insane because I'm like touching these girls. I'm like, I don't want to touch them. I feel wrong, and they're getting mad at me. Like, no, grab whatever. Like, as long as you catch me, I don't care. It's part of the sport. It's not like seen in any way. It's part of the sport. So that didn't really sell me or anything. I was just like, this is not my thing. So they're like, why don't you come to tumbling on the weekend? I was like, I'll see people throw flips. Hell yeah. So that's where it went. I went to tumbling, and they're like, what will it take for you to join the cheer team? Because they had one guy. He was also a football player. So he was a boyfriend at the time of one of the cheerleaders. And so he was going to the police academy. Was it one of the guys in the picture here? No, he's not there. I took his place because he was going to the police academy.
Oh, so you took his place. Okay.
They needed someone for him because he was leaving to the police academy. He was another football player.
You could squeeze this in between track and football, add this to the mix? All three were going on? Or was this on a different season?
It was same season. It was right after football.
Oh my gosh. So you're track, football, and then cheer.
Straight to cheer. Yep. And then I would go eat dinner, and then I would go work out on my own at the gym.
Man,
that's how I was.
You were grinding.
The last 12 hours of my day, 9 of them was spent working out. Like, actually. Like, I calculated it, and it was crazy. And so I went to the tumbling, and when I was a little kid, I landed on my neck doing a backflip, right? On the trampoline. And so I ever since then, I used to throw backflips when I was like little, and ever since then I had a huge mental block.
Phobia.
No matter how high I jumped, I would not be able to, turn.
Yeah, your body is like, nope, not doing it.
Exactly. And so I told them, like, you know what? If you could teach me how to do a backflip, I'll join the cheer team. Because I knew it was impossible.
Oh, got it.
They taught me how to do a backflip.
So you were in.
Within 3 days, on the 4th day, I landed a backflip.
Wow. So what was the high point of being on the dance? I mean, see this picture. You're at the national championships. Did you ever?
It was amazing. It was crazy. It was crazy. We placed like I think either last place or second to last place at the championships. We also had a girl break her leg or tear her ACL mid routine. And so the craziest thing was I was throwing my first backflip in front of people at this meet. This was a month after I joined the team. I had to learn how to cheer in a month.
Wow. Man,
while I'm doing trial by fire, I'm doing spring ball, I'm doing like track competitions, like it's like I'm in the middle of everything.
When did you have time to study, man? It's like your whole day is working out and doing sports and activities.
I was an athlete student, not a student athlete, very much.
Were your grades able to kind of hang in there? You still got it done.
I was able to hang. I was above a 2.5, so that was good. The first, because I was on conditional admission with the scholarship because of when I got there. So I went from a 1.2 to a 2.5, or 1.12 to a 2.5 or 6, and then after that, I had to keep it above a 2.0. So for me, the teacher, for whatever reason, teachers love me, and so I'll take that. And they worked with me, and so I was able to do what I do. And yeah, man, I was so fun. I used to throw flips everywhere, Walmart, McDonald's.
Once you got it, once you figured it out, you're just like,
Everywhere.
anytime I'm ready to pull it out.
Football practice, like everywhere, like it was throwing backflips. And
Oh, that's awesome.
But, yeah.
All right, so let's transition. Let's move to Bethel, because obviously this is where I have the bulk of your highlights and your pictures and stuff. So talk about how you left that school to go to Bethel.
Lindenwood to go to Bethel. So Lindenwood won. So we had spring practice, and I went crazy in spring training. It's like spring game and everything. I tried to leave Lindenwood to go because the coach just didn't want to play me, and I don't want to say it's because I'm Mexican and I don't fit the stereotypical running back, but it felt like that, because I was better reps. I was giving better reps. I was making bigger plays, and I deserved at least an opportunity to go in the game and play. And it just didn't happen. I played my first season there at Lindenwood. So it was my redshirt year, then my first season, and I had 11 tackles on kickoff. And so kickoff and punt. So that was my main thing. I played kickoff. And so all the plays I made were on kickoff. I had big tackles. I had hit stick tackles. That one picture was after a hit stick fumble tackle on kickoff. And then, so I led the team on special team tackles. So had that film. I tried to go to Tyler Junior College, and I went to Texas State to talk to the coaches. And they didn't answer my email, so I went in person. The only way I know how to do things is by doing it myself. Texas State kind of said, just, I got there, I waited for a coach, and I was like, hey, I want to play special teams for y'all. I didn't care about whatever else. I said, I want to play kickoff for y'all, special teams, kickoff, punt, and they kind of shooed me away. They're like, did you send an email? I was like, yeah, I already sent it. And he was like, what's your email? He wrote it down and never heard anything from them. So then I went to Tyler Junior College, and TJC's a big JUCO, back in Texas, where a lot of the people that go there are, Division I players. So they shooed me away pretty quickly. And so I was like, I asked, I had unenrolled from Lindenwood. I asked to enroll back. I told them I tried, to go somewhere else, and they took me back, and I'm very blessed for that. And so I played the spring game. So I went through the spring training, spring practice. I played the spring game, went crazy. And then as we're going into summer, we get an email that the school's closing down the following year, that it's going to be the last year of the school's existence, of football and everything. So I was like, right away, I knew that meant we weren't having a football season. They tried to tell us that we were, but there was no way. We barely had enough players to play the spring game. We were getting no recruiting class, and people were going to leave because of this, and then people were going to get hurt. So I was like, there's no way we're playing the season. And so I started sending I finally had game film. I had college game film. I sent that off, and I sent it to a bunch of colleges. Same thing I did to try to get into college, but this time I had game film, and I was on a roster. I had tackles. I had, stats. So I sent off my film to every single school, and I was like, I'm looking to play special teams. That was how I said it. I'm looking to play special teams, and I can help out on offense as a running back, but I'm trying to play kickoff. And so 2 schools got back to me. 2 schools got back to me. And multiple schools got back to me, but a lot of schools wanted me to switch positions to DB. And I was like, I cannot play DB. I actually tried that on one practice. No way I could play corner. The corner is such a hard. It's
going the wrong direction,
position.
right? You're a forward guy. DB,
Exactly.
you're like going backwards and swiveling.
Side to side. So there was just no way. And so there was 2 schools that wanted me as a running back. It was Upper Iowa University, a D2 in Iowa, and then super nice college, and then Bethel College. They ran the trip bone, the triple flex bone, the flex bone triple option. Never seen that in my life. Maybe like a little league for my little brother. And it was crazy. Like I said, I saw that they were the #1 rushing team in the nation of every single division. And I looked through these teams. I'm like, where do I have the most opportunity to play? Bethel's fifth string running back that season had like 5 carries. So I said, because I'm going in there without a spring practice. I'm going in there in the fall, having to learn a whole new system, having to learn all the players, the coaches. I understood that I would be in the bottom of the roster, but I was okay with that because I saw I could at least be the fifth string running back. There's no way there's 5 people better than me, right? Or at least they could run the ball better than me. So I transferred to Bethel, and I told my best friend Nolan, like, you got to get out. Like, this season's not going to happen. So he transferred also. Ended up blindly transferring to the same. So that school right there, Kansas Wesleyan, my best friend went to that school. We both at Lindenwood, transferred blindly, ended up being rivals.
Oh, this white and blue team is your friends joined the rival college.
Yeah, Kansas Wesleyan. So ended up transferring to Bethel. Lindenwood season, a lot of athletes stayed. Lindenwood season didn't happen. A lot of those students never played college football again because. So
you left at just the right time.
I knew it. I had a strong feeling. I knew it was going to happen. I knew I needed to not let this dream die no matter what. So I went to Bethel, and went through fall camp. Was at the bottom of the roster, but I could run the ball. And so every time I touched the ball, it was a big run or a touchdown. So we had a scrimmage against the team that had lost in the national championship, Benedictine College. You might recognize Benedictine from Harrison Butker's speech. That's the school he was talking about. So Benedictine College, very, very great school, a lot of talent, of very, very good school, right? I was the only player to score a touchdown against Benedictine. And so the first time I touched the ball, I had a big run, but I got caught and I got mad. And I remember going to the sideline, grab my helmet, hit my head. Don't do that. But, I was mad. And I was like, next time that happens, I'm not going to get caught. So the next time I touched the ball, I scored a touchdown. It was like a 50-yard touchdown or 60-yard touchdown, right? And I was the only one from the starters, from everyone against the same defense, that scored a touchdown against Benedictine. Fast forward to the next week. We have a self scrimmage against each other. I score a touchdown. I scored 2 touchdowns, one receiving, one running, long touchdown again. So fast forward to the first game of the season. Very first game of playing running back. I'm finally in. My very first carry, Norb, 50-yard touchdown to the house.
Nice.
My very first carry in college, I scored a 50-yard touchdown to the house, just like I had been doing the last few weeks. And it was the most surreal feeling in the world. Pack stands, hearing my name in the, Rudy Juarez from Brownsville, Texas. Yeah. I had mentally planned to throw a backflip with the cheerleaders because I was cheering at Bethel also my first year there.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That would have been cool. So, didn't do it?
I didn't do it because I celebrated so much to everyone, and then I was on kickoff, so I had to run.
Oh, you had to get back. You didn't have time to be horsing around.
Exactly, and then I made the tackle on kickoff too, so it was okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to show some clips. I got your highlights from Bethel, a 2-minute reel of your highlights I want to show. I just want to relate to my little how I could relate to the feeling you had. This was going way back to, because I was fast in elementary school, and my first year of playing Little League football, I think I was 9 years old. Maybe 8, but I was fast, right? And they, in Little League, you don't throw the ball. It's all just runs, right? Because nobody's skilled enough to throw the football. You can't kick and you can't do anything. So, but we had this play, because back then it was like a lot of power I formations, power I right, power I left, a lot of that. So, but I was a wing back, and so they had this play where I'd sit up on the edge by the tight end. They'd fake the power dive, and they'd hand it to me on the route, basically like an end around or a jet sweep. And they'd bite every time. And as soon as I turned that corner, I was gone. So the first time we played a game, I'll never forget, it was at Highline Stadium. on the AstroTurf. Never been on AstroTurf before, and I felt fast. I was like, "Whoa, this is like." Because I practiced on grass the whole time, and all of a sudden you're on AstroTurf. I was like, "Whoa, I feel I'm on carpet. I can really move here." And I remember on my first touch on the football, they called it the Norbert play because they knew that I could score on this thing all the time. So first play, got it, ran down the field. They had a little announcer and stuff. I was like, "Whoa, this is pretty sweet." So yeah, I got famous for the Norbert play back in Talbot Hill Tigers when I was a little kid. But I know that feeling. That feel like the first time you ever score is like, man, I could get used to this.
Crazy.
So,
Yeah,
but
insane feeling.
yeah, so I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play these clips. I want you to just talk over it because I don't have the sound up on these. So just you can just kind of tell me a little bit of the backstory of what we're looking at here. So this is, I think, the start of your highlights. All right, let's take a look real quick.
3rd and 7.
Yeah, what's
from
this?
17. Juarez
So
in
this
motion.
is
Hits the pitch. If he gets the edge, he's gone, folks, and there he goes.
Actually, to break the school record.
Nobody's going to catch that kid.
We ran for like
87 yards, Rudy Juarez.
So not only did we break the record,
Around. Trying to break free, and there he goes. He's gone.
this was against our rival team because they just escaped to the house before halftime.
Touchdown.
That was the most yards. This is my last college touchdown right here. So I actually dove and threw like 3 defenders. Yeah. Got stretched out.
Pitch
This is my
play.
first start
It's
of
gonna
a college
be
game.
Juarez, and Juarez is gone. Juarez is gone down the right side. Touchdown, Bethel. Man in motion. It's just off right side. This is Juarez. Juarez is into the end zone. That was explosive.
I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
This is Ottawa. Yeah, this is actually
Pass everybody. He's going to take it in for 6
hyperextended
from 30.
elbows. I'm running a little weird because my elbow.
You like running around the edge, don't you? You like getting around that perimeter.
Yeah, this is my first touch. This is my first touch in college. Yeah, here.
Oh, this is the one? This is the touchdown you're talking about?
That's the one right there.
Nice.
That's up to the house.
Yeah, all your bread and butter. You're outstanding just by the numbers.
Yeah, because also, pretty much where you played the wing, that's what we played next for. I was the wing.
Oh, so you're a wing too. Okay, so similar deal. That was what I was doing.
So this was the scrimmage against Benedictine. And so this is what I was like, I'm not getting caught. Yeah, I'm just not getting caught. I'm just running. And so, yeah, man. This is the last touchdown on my first season at Bethel. I actually got cracked right here.
Lead by 3
At least
scores.
you got the points.
Esau
Yeah.
retreats back to the 30-yard line. Pitches it out on
breaking
the right
tackles,
side.
running,
Run.
cutting.
Juarez breaks the tackles.
So,
This possession
that
a
was
little
so
bit more
fun, so
like
fun.
pressure football. They go with
I
their
love,
first play.
I love
Juarez
running the
stiff
ball a
arms,
lot.
gets past one defender, gets the first down,
Yeah,
spinning
I'm
down.
pretty good at not getting tackled on first hit. So
Making guys
Down
miss,
12,
breaking it.
21-9. We'll take a break
So
here.
it was
Come back for the fourth
it was so
quarter.
fun. I had so much fun playing college football. It was a dream come true. Yeah, man.
Let me read a few stats here because it's pretty impressive. 49 carries, 657 yards, 9 touchdowns, 13.4 average, not bad. 51 tackles on kickoffs in 4 seasons. The 4.38. I actually have 4.37 written down here. 40-yard dash. Close enough.
Yeah, at Bethel we took electronic time and I ran a 4.37. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you even outdid your time that you had. You did.
Yeah, I got a little faster.
Oh, nice.
Because of track.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, 3-time KCAC conference champ, 4 times all KCAC sprinter in track, KCAC champion of the 4x100 relay, and All-American 4x100 relay as well. In fact, I got some of your, I think I got your track photo right here. Let's see, right here. There you go. That's your.
Yeah,
Hey, your legs are a little bigger here in this photo than the skinny guy we saw from before. Is this your relay team?
Yeah, that's the relay team. We broke the school record and we ran the fastest time. We ran the fastest time in the nation at that point. Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, there's the relay. Now, I saw in one of your other pictures, I see it with the headband here. You got that nickname, and it's obviously, that nickname kind of stuck. They started calling you the Flash. When did you get that nickname? How did that come about?
After the first touchdown I scored. And because through fall camp, I wore Flash socks. Because Flash has always been my favorite.
Oh, okay.
My favorite superhero. So at Lindenwood, we went to a party, and the theme was gym. It was a gym party, and me and my friends, we went to Walmart and we were like, we have to match. So we got like little girl booty shorts and we got like superhero. We decided to get superhero shirts. And we were like, my friend Nolan, my best friend, he was Batman because I call him Fat Man. So he was Batman. And then he was my lineman. So he's my lineman. I love him, you know. And then my other friend was like the Punisher. And then I was the Flash. And then it was like the Green Lantern. So we did that. And so it was just like a kind of like a joke, you know, just. And then all of a sudden, it's just kind of, you know, I bought some Flash socks. I was like, man, I like the Flash, you know, it embodies me. So I started wearing Flash socks. And then when I went to Bethel, I had socks that matched the maroon. It looked just like the uniform. And I started scoring touchdowns. So they started calling me the Flash. And then once I scored my first touchdown, it just stuck. Like officially it stuck. And in that, so that picture, you have that picture. It's like I think it's the thumbnail of this video.
Oh, actually, yeah. Oh,
so that picture.
I think I got it. I think it's this one right here. Is it that one?
Look at my socks, the Flash socks. You see that?
Oh, yeah. Sure enough.
This is my first touchdown. This is my first touchdown in my college career.
Wow, you got a good photo of it too.
This is an amazing photo. And so I, you know, it matched the uniform at Bethel. No one was allowed to wear anything but black and white or maroon. But they allowed me because I scored touchdowns. They're like, and it matches the uniform.
It does match. It's pretty much, yeah. It doesn't look like it's some weird green or something that doesn't go with it.
So that became me. And so they started calling me the Flash. So the announcers, my teammates, you know, one of my teammates, Domo, he came up to me like, hey man, you're the Flash, you know, just like in the scrimmages, after the scrimmages. And then after the first touchdown, it stuck, and that just became my nickname.
Oh, this is all in on the Flash right here.
Yeah, for Halloween, I practiced in the Flash onesie.
Oh, that's what it is. I was like, how'd you get that outfit to work like that? I see. Yeah, you got the mashup of the onesie underneath. That's pretty.
It was on Halloween, so it was so fun. Yeah. I practiced in that too. It was so fun.
Oh, really? You put your helmet on the hood, or you just put the hood in the back?
I think I put the helmet on. You're not allowed to do that anymore, but I put the helmet on the
over
hood,
over the mask.
Over the hood, over the mask.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's how the name stuck. Yeah, became the Flash, and then just about every time I touched the ball, I scored a touchdown. Yeah.
And then this is your cheer. This is your the dance team, cheer team at Bethel as well, right?
I did the cheer at Bethel. So Bethel actually. So it was crazy because when I went through the recruiting process, I got a lot of offers of cheer, a lot of Division I offers of cheer. Bethel cheer coach was actually the one who reached out to me, and I told him I'd probably not going to cheer, but I wouldn't go anywhere that I'm not going to play football. So he reached out to the football coach. So it's crazy how like Disney helped me get to play to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale helped me get to Lindenwood. And then Lindenwood cheer helped me play football at Bethel. It's crazy how like the things that I do.
So it was actually the Bethel cheer coach who was instrumental in getting you connected to the football team. Wow, yeah, man, you're like, man, if I didn't join the cheer team back in Lindenwood, this may never have happened.
No, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
He
right?
got me in contact with the coach, and the coach. They really wanted me. Coach Stokes really recruited me, really wanted me, called me all the time, and upped up the scholarship little by little every time he called me, and he was like, "We really want you. You know, I see how much you want it in these plays on special teams on kickoff, and we can use energy like that. If you're anything like these highlights show, then we can really use you." And my first season at Bethel, so I scored, I think 3 or 4 touchdowns that season on I think it was 9 carries. Or 10 carries. It was like nothing, right? I had a few carries and I had most of them for touchdowns. And then I had 17 tackles on kickoff that year.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And then the following year I averaged 21.4 yards a carry rushing. I had 409 yards for 21 carries or something. 21 carries for 409 yards. Something crazy. So yeah, we had a crazy backfield. It was insane. Bethel was so fun. Yeah, it was crazy.
My special guest, for those of you just tuning in late, this is Rudy the Flash Juarez. You can check him out on his social media at JrzSaiyan on Instagram, YouTube. Do you do other socials? Do you do TikTok as well?
I got TikTok, but it's the same thing as Instagram, pretty much.
Pretty much the same stuff. Okay.
JRZSaiyan.
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
I post on
JRZSaiyan.
Instagram, I post on TikTok.
Yeah. So we've been talking about his video game background, his boxing background, how he got into college playing football, and then the next chapter, which you are now in, going from college to the professional side. Talk about how you got, you ended up in, and I don't even know how to define the league you ended up in, but tell me about how you made the jump from college to professional football in the non-NFL way. What did that journey look like?
So I knew football was overseas, right? I had a teammate at Lindenwood who was German, and he played for, I can't pronounce their name, but the Unicorns, like Swash something. Unicorns out there in Germany. And I knew football existed overseas. I watched Adventure Athlete on YouTube. Shout out Clark. Actually was my quarterback in Australia, so that was really cool, him being my roommate. And I was with this decision, right? After finishing my last season of college, I knew I was going to keep playing. I didn't know how, where, or anything. For me, it was like, okay, I got to make it happen, just like I made it happen to play college, just like how I made it happen to be who I am in college. I knew the next process was going to be the same thing. And I had a decision. Try to make the NFL, make a practice squad, go to a training camp. You know, the process, like try to get a combine invite, go to a training camp, try to make an NFL rookie mini camp, try to make it through, try to make a regular training camp, try to make it through, try to play special teams, you know, the whole process. Like go through all that to probably not make it, get cut, move around, get cut, live paycheck to paycheck, and probably never live out my dream. I lived out my dream playing college football, but I knew there was more. I had a bigger dream after that, right? Once I was like, this is who I am. I'm doing this big thing in college. My dream was to keep playing professionally. And I was like, do I want to do that? Also coming off of...
Was the draft not an option? Because obviously everybody knows the draft, but is it because of the school you were coming from? It just wasn't going to be... Okay.
It just wasn't. It's small school, NAIA school. It doesn't get looked at much. Right. It's just, it's hard, man. It's hard. Put yourself out there, your name out there. I had the highlights. I had the work ethic. I had everything. But football is very political. You know, it's very like opportunistic. It's like you have to be in the perfect situation, perfect opportunity. It just has to be the perfect combination of things. Some of the best players sometimes never even make it to the NFL or get an opportunity to play because they're on the bench because there's other good players that are playing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same. College is like that too. There's a scholarship game, the numbers game with like a bunch of things. Some players never get to play. It's a thing. Football is it's hard. It's a team sport. It's hard to show your individual worth if you don't have the right team also around you, the right situation. So,
but has it changed the last couple of years with the whole NIL and everything like that, man. It's just it's crazy. Wild west out there, but we won't get into that. But yeah, so you decided NFL route was not the way to go for you. So you went the international.
Well, I was weighing the options. I was like, I could play football right now, be an international superstar, get to travel the world, get paid and travel for free, live in places I've never thought of even living. Or I could try to make the NFL, probably get cut, move around, live paycheck to paycheck, and maybe not even make it to a practice squad. And even if you make it to a practice squad, it's not guaranteed you make it past the 1 week. You know, you get cut. It's a week to week basis. So I was just like, I went to work out at the gym, and this one guy that was
Juarez.
a trainer at my gym. He was like, "Hey man, I can help you get to the NFL." I'm like, "How are you gonna help me get to the NFL?" He's like, "Man, I can do this, I could do that." Ruin my workout with all this like BS. You know, you can smell BS when you hear it. You know, so he's like, I got connections with this, I got connections with that, and that lit a fire in me that he ruined my workout. I woke up the next day like at 3 a.m, 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep, and I was like, I am my own agent. I don't need anyone trying to do this, trying to do that, because he was just trying to help. He was just trying to make me pay for a personal trainer's course, right? He didn't play professionally. He didn't play in the NFL.
Oh, he was just trying to make some money off of you.
Yeah, I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. So he was trying. He was a hustler. He was trying to sell something. I can. You can notice that right away and with time. And so I was like, nah, man. I'm good. I was gonna go back work for Disney while I waited to try to play overseas. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna play overseas. So I remember waking up like at 2 or 3 in the morning, mad because he ruined my workout. He ruined my whole day, and that stuck with me because I was just like, I can do this myself. I don't need anyone trying to do this and that. Like I did this to get myself to go from not playing high school to play college and to do what I did in college. Like I can do this to play overseas. So I made a Euro players account. That's the website the international coaches go to. And I made an account. I finished my highlights that morning. I did everything. I put it up and I messaged every single coach that I saw needed a running back or a receiver. And I had within the next few days, I was talking to German coaches, German league coaches, Brazil, Spain wasn't on the radar yet. It was Germany, Brazil, and I think it was like Hungary or something. And so I was talking to these coaches, and I was actually pretty set on Brazil, right? So there was 2 teams. It was the Stuttgart Surge, which is the ELF team for the big German league, but they ended up picking up someone else with like NFL experience or whatever. And I was gonna play for the Rio Preto Whalers in Sao Paulo, Rio Preto, and I was gonna go to Brazil. And last second, it didn't fall through. And I had just left Disney to go to Brazil, and the last second, it didn't fall through. And so I went to go run a track meet at the University of Houston. And while I was there, the team from Spain messaged me and said, "Hey, Rudy, we saw your film. We will want you. How soon can you get out to Spain?" And I was like, "I could leave tomorrow." Like I was like that. I was like, I will leave tomorrow. I'm whatever I got.
I don't care how expensive that plane ticket is. Last minute, I'm going, right?
Yeah. Well, they were paying for the plane ticket.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. In that case, yeah, I'm going.
So, my brother David, my best friend David, he's like a little brother. One of my best friends, David. He works for American Airlines, so I fly through his benefits.
Oh, even better.
I fly standby. So the thing was the Spanish team was like, "Hey, the ticket's expensive. Like it's like $1,500. Like there's no way we can fly you out. That's it's a lot of money." I'm like, I could fly out for like $250. Just pay me back. And so that's what I did. I flew out. They paid me back.
Okay, you really utilize your resources there. Yeah.
Always, you always have to utilize whatever resources you have, whatever connections or resources you have. You got to utilize it. So shout out to David. Flew through his benefits, got to Spain, and I had to learn the playbook within 2 days. And then I played there for Gijón Mariners in the north of Spain in Asturias.
This is the team, isn't it?
That is a team, yes, sir.
It's funny, it's the Mariners of all teams.
I played my first game 2 days after I got there, and I scored 2 touchdowns. That was nice. Yeah, running touchdown. There's a Dragonball reference right there.
Okay. I was wondering what that was about there. Okay.
So yeah, that's me in Spain, man. And then right after Spain, I went straight to play in Norway. I was talking to the coaches out in Norway, and they flew me out there. They paid me a good amount of money to be out in Norway, and I lived in Norway, man. It was amazing. So someone made me that graphic in college.
I was gonna say, I looked at it, I was like, wait a second. I'm trying to figure this out here. Obviously a little Photoshop, nicely done Photoshop job there. You on the Marshawn Lynch. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so man. It was crazy. It was crazy. I went Spain. I played in Spain. I did my thing in Spain. It was so fun. The experiences I had, celebrating Carnival in Spain, being with my teammates, burger eating contests against my linemen, and just like living as a local. It's different to live there and be there with a team that takes care of you and pays you and gives you a place to live than like being a tourist. Yeah. I never thought I would leave the U.S. that soon, and to live there. To do what I do there. And then I went to Norway right after. Never thought I would ever visit Norway. I lived there. I scored touchdowns there, had tackles on kickoff there. I had, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. And then after that, I went back home. I injured my MCL in Norway a little bit, and so I needed to go back home and kind of didn't get to finish the whole season there. So I went back home to let it heal, and then I went to Australia to play. And I left to Sydney, Australia for the I know the name. It's the Raiders, UNSW Raiders, and I didn't actually get to play for them because I actually tore my ACL there in Australia.
That's the injury I remember seeing you posting about.
Yeah, well, that was more the one you remember is me in college.
And that was that your senior year?
I came back from my super senior year, so that was my senior year of college. I tore my ACL at Bethel, my left ACL. And then when I was in Norway, I had a slight tear in my MCL.
Same leg?
Different, the other leg.
Oh, the other leg. Oh,
and
wow.
So I had a slight tear in my MCL, and when your MCL's torn, your ACL's at higher risk of being torn. And so then I re-tore my MCL because it was a slight tear, so it was like a 6-week recovery, and it was like 3.5 weeks, and I had to do some change of direction. But it's a blessing and a curse, but the amount of force that I produced was too much for like my ligament to handle, and the doctor said there's no way to predict that. Like that shouldn't have happened, but there's no way to predict how much your ligament can take. It's not a muscle until it gives out or it doesn't. And so I did a very slight change of direction and a retore in Norway, and so my season was over there. And it was another slight tear. I went back to the doctor, and I think because they didn't give me an MRI, I think I had a tear in my ACL then. So then when I went to Australia, like I felt fine, but I was practicing and I was fine for a couple practices. But one day I did a really hard cut and my whole leg just snapped. And I got an MRI and I found out like 2 months later, I stayed to coach. And 2 months later, I found out that I had my ACL torn, MCL, LCL, meniscus, I had a fracture in my leg. And I was fine. I was in Bali. I was partying. I was enjoying life. I was in Sydney, going to the beach, working out, So then I left back home, and I got surgery in Mexico, which is the right leg. So I have my left knee torn in college, which is fine. My right knee tore in Australia. I get surgery for it in Mexico. Go back home. I go through the recovery process again, and for me, it's like working out. Like for me, I'm very motivated. I'm very self-motivated. Yeah. So for me, it's just it was fine. I went through the process once.
Yeah.
It was,
Well, it's before you continue on, I do have some of your highlights from your time I think it was with the Mariners. Let's talk me through a little bit of what you see here. Here we go.
I took a slant to the house. That was a little zig route to the house.
So you're still running. You're still right there. There's Dragonball there. Yeah. So you're catching the ball more, but you're still running back, right? You're just catching out of the backfield.
I'm a running back, and I'm a receiver there too.
Oh, so you actually did play receiver. Okay.
Yeah, because the thing with international is like, so right there I'm a receiver, right? The thing with international is like the O-line is give or take depending on the team. So if I can't run the ball because I break 3 tackles and there's still like a bunch of guys left. That was my first game. That was my first touchdown. That was my second touchdown at receiver, running back to the receiver. So there was if the line can't block, you got to get me the ball somehow. So you put me out a receiver. I make people miss.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. It was that was right after my senior season. My last season at Bethel, I came back from obviously a torn ACL, so I didn't have it was supposed to be my season as the sole starter because we had a rotation all my years there. And it was supposed to be my season as a sole starter, and it just didn't happen. The coaches felt like I wasn't myself, which was crazy considering the fall camp I had, and I was torching everyone and scoring touchdowns. And my coach actually told me, he took me to the side and was actually like, "Hey, Rudy, you should. I know you have dreams to keep playing football, but you should rethink that and probably hang it up." I remember telling him I'll just see you at practice, coach. I'm not gonna do that. And so my last season of college football, no one knows this because you know it's all like internal things. I just go out there and I do my thing. And so like in the Bethel highlights, you see my last touchdown. That was my second carry of the season, and I knew, and that's why I dove through 3 people because I knew I needed to score. I knew that was my chance to score.
Right.
Actually, I had a concussion, which is not smart to play. Do not play the concussion. I had a concussion while I scored that touchdown. Like I got a concussion in practice the week of the game.
Did they not know you had it? You just kept it to yourself?
Yeah, it was bad because after that, I felt fine. I didn't get hit in my head, but the practice after that, my body went numb for a second after someone hit me in the head, and I told the trainers because I got scared. I was like, I can't, like, you know, it's not worth it, and which was a good thing because actually that following game, one of my running backs got knocked out cold in the game. They came to hit. I would have probably died, honestly, if I would have played, because second concussion syndrome is a real dangerous thing. If you get a concussion and you play and you get a second one while you have that first one, your brain can swell up and you can.
Wow, that's why they're so strict on that now,
yes,
right?
They're very strict. So it's the brain stuff is very serious, and so it was very dumb, but I scored a touchdown. And yeah, so that was the end of my season pretty much. I forced myself to on kickoff because we had new coaches my last year of football. We had brand new coaching staff in college, and so I was coming back from my ACL, and they just didn't respect that. And I was like, you know what? I don't care about playing running back. Like, at least my bread and butter is kickoff, and my goal for my career was 50 tackles in my career in college, and I had like 40. I think I had 44 or 43 or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is the year I'm gonna get it. And the special teams coach, you know, I went up and introduced myself, like, yeah, I've been the special teams, you know, captain. I was a leading tackler in kickoff, and he didn't like that for whatever reason. I mean, I was being respectful. I introduced myself, but he didn't like that, and there was no fifth string in kickoff, but I was just in the depth chart. I was the only one down there with my name. Oh, bro. And so when in the games, I would be with my friends, my teammates, and I was like, hey, you let me go in for you on kickoff. And so I would sneak in, I'll go make the tackle. And so yeah, like I would do anything, get on the field. And so I ended up getting 51 tackles on kickoff.
I see that.
And by the time he found out, he got pissed, and he found out, and he's like, "You're not going back in." I was like, "I hit my 50 tackle goal. I don't even care. I scored a touchdown. I hit my 50 tackle goal, and I'm gonna keep playing football after this. I don't even care." And so that was my last year. It was a tough year, but I always saw the positives because for me it was just training and getting my ACL ready to keep playing football after, because I knew for sure I was gonna keep playing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, you can't mimic getting game reps or getting practice reps against a live defense. And I had All-Americans on my defense. So for me, I was getting reps at receiver because we switched offenses from flex bone to, you know, open to like a RPO kind of triple option, but out of the gun. So then I got receiver reps. I learned how to run routes, and then I, you know, was getting more comfortable on my knee and everything. And so I learned how to play more, you know, and that really ended up coming in handy because when I went to Spain, I got switched to receiver. I got to play running back and receiver. So then it just became this whole thing that everything has led me up to the next thing and the next thing. So I'm very blessed that my coaches didn't believe in me my last year, and it gave me the opportunity to get a lot of reps in practice, get my knee right, and, you know, work out, not take a lot of pounding in the season because I didn't have a lot of wear and tear. So then when I went to Spain, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And so I went, and then so that was one ACL, and then I went to the other one. Yeah.
Well, I want to play this clip because, and I want to just hear the commentary I mentioned earlier. This is when you went to South Korea and played with is it Daegu Phoenix? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Daegu.
So this is pretty cool. The Daegu Phoenix. So here, we just got to listen to this a couple of plays here. So this is in South Korea. Check this out. Hopefully you guys can hear the audio.
10번 진학 선수, 예, 24번 비었습니다.
자, 루디 선수가 한 건 해냅니다.
예.
think there's another one coming up here.
예.
너무 가뿐하게 뛰었습니다.
칭찬할 수 있는 게 지금 루디 선수가
네.
It's crazy.
There's one more.
It's insane. Oh,
자,
I was bringing so many-
루디
예.
과연
루디!
과연 살아있습니다. 루디 과연 자,
I was breaking so many tackles.
약 한 5야드 정도 남은 상태에서 루디가 잡히고 말았습니다.
That's so cool. Frankly, I didn't know they had football in Korea. What was that like?
Me neither. I didn't. It was amazing. It was the Koreans are so amazing. The culture. I love the culture. I was actually supposed to play in China, so I was gonna go play for.
I didn't know they had football in China.
I was gonna play in Guangzhou, in China, and but I had a trip planned to Tokyo, and I had a trip planned to Bali, right? Because when I played in Australia, I had a week off, so like I went. It's because so much has happened. It's crazy. It's crazy telling my story because I played in a lot of people when they do what I do, playing international football, they play with a team and they're kind of in that region. They don't really travel, right? So when I played in Australia, I had a week off, right? We had a week off, and my quarterback Clark, adventure athlete on YouTube, huge YouTuber when it comes to football, international football. He's been playing internationally for years. I remember seeing him when I was in college, playing internationally. And so we had a week off. He was my roommate. And I was like, Clark, I want to do something for this week off, man. Like, we have to do something. He's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, let's go to Bali. And he's like, what? Bali? He's like, where's that? I'm like, bro, it's in Indonesia. I've heard so much about Bali. You know, let's take a week off. Let's go to Bali. We got a week off. It's so expensive to fly in Australia. We were living in Sydney. And I was like, let's go to Bali, bro. And he was like, are you serious? And I bought my flight. As soon as I told him, like, I got my flight, bro. Are you coming or not? I'll go without you. And he bought his flight. And so he was like, this is the first time. He'd been playing overseas for years internationally. And he was like, this is the first time that I'm actually going to travel while I'm playing. And when he told me that, I knew I had to do the international football my own way. I've always been, the type of person that I always want more. There's a different way of doing what I do. Playing football, running track, and then doing cheer. If I'm playing international football, I want to do more of the international with the football because I'm already on this side of the world. Might as well take advantage on my weeks off. I'm going to travel. So I went to Bali for the first time. We had an amazing time, and I knew that I wanted more for myself when it came to playing football and traveling because my time with football is very limited, right? I'm another injury away from retiring. You never know when it's your last play. I mean, I knew that after my first ACL injury, my second ACL injury, I knew that's when things kind of changed. I was like, I got to take advantage of me playing and being, traveling and being on this side of the world. I want to do this at a bigger scale than what international athletes do. No one really travels. If they do little trips. I was like, no, I want to do this on a grand, like in a way no one's ever done it before. And so I took the playing international football in a different level. So I was going to play in China, and I had already planned to travel to Tokyo on my week off. Or I decided when I had surgery, I was going to wait for a full year to play, right? And so I planned a Tokyo trip to force myself to wait. And I had a Bali trip also planned because I loved Bali the first time. I had to go back, experience some more. And I planned it with David, my brother, the one I mentioned with the flights, and worked for American Airlines. And so we had planned that. It's like the group chat trip finally ends. The trip leaves the group chat finally. We're going to Tokyo, a dream that we always had. And so I was going to play in China, but with the visa, it wasn't for sure that it was going to be single entry and re-entry or multiple. And I had to wait to find out. And I didn't want to leave it to chance. So then I was like, okay, I can't play in Japan because they have a lot of strict rules with Japan. I have to get a Japanese job. Japan's huge in with football, by the way. American football is huge in Japan. X League, X League 1, X League 2, huge. And I was like, there has to be, if there's football in Japan, there's football in China, there's got to be football in Korea. I just got to find it. And so social media is an amazing thing, man, because I went through the rabbit hole. It's very hard to find a lot of these Asian countries with football because they're very low key with everything. It's hard to get in contact with them. It's hard to get in everything. So I was gonna play in Guangzhou. I was in contact with the guy, one of the head guys of the team, but I couldn't take a chance of spending all the money to go to Tokyo and not going. So I ended up finding out through a deep rabbit hole trying to find some type of football league in Korea, that there was a big football league in Korea, the KNFL, and they got college football in Korea, which I didn't know. And so they got a huge college football scene in Korea. And so I reached out to the teams in Korea. I'm like, hey, I'm a professional, football player. I've played in Spain. I've played in Norway. I'm coming out to Asia. By any chance, they had just won the championship, the Phoenix, and I was like, by any chance, are y'all looking for a player to come out and play? And they're like, yes, we want you. Don't talk to anyone else. We'll take you. And then I signed with the Phoenix, and I went to Daegu. I lived in Gunwi, in Kubi, as it's pronounced out there, I believe. And I lived in like the mountains of Korea, and I played football out there, man, and it was amazing. And when I was playing in Korea, I visited Singapore, I visited Bali, I visited Tokyo. I visited, after my Korean season, in between, I signed with France, right? I visited Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand, other parts of Indonesia. Like, I really have taken, my bye weeks, I travel to a different country to experience different cultures, live like a local, and just live life, do stuff that I never thought I would do. And then in between seasons, I traveled too. I spent Christmas in Sweden with my old quarterback from Norway. He's Swedish. I spent Christmas out there. When he was playing in Austria in the summer, I was doing like a big Europe trip. I went like Morocco. I went Morocco, Barcelona, Rome, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Greece, the Greek islands, Mykonos, Paros. I went Milan to watch Taylor Swift. I went Austria, Paris. I went Paris, Austria, back to Paris for the Olympics, and then I went to Korea. So, like, for me, travel, living life at the absolute fullest that I can is so important because, football, life is more than football. And I love football with all my heart. It is my love. It is my passion. I mean, I'm still doing it, after tearing both my knees. I'm still going at it, right? I'm still playing at the level I am. I'm still, playing different countries and everything. And football's given me an opportunity to travel the world, get taken care of, get paid, live in another country. And then from there, I can travel wherever I want. And I have the opportunity to play in different places and have talk to different coaches and decide where I want to play, what's the best fit, what's the best location, where I can travel more, what's the schedule look like, where I could travel in my free time. And so while I've been here in France, I played at the Pokemon World Championships in London, flew straight to my game, played there, got MVP, scored 2 touchdowns. I've traveled to Brazil for Carnival on my weeks off. I've traveled to Rome, Milan, Portugal, the UK a few times. Like, I realized that football can end at any second. And with me playing internationally, there's always like a bigger way you can do things, So I also have like a side job, data collection from back home from the state of Texas. It's like a contractor type job, I guess. It's hard to describe it, but it's data collection. And so I already don't have to spend much money. And then I save that money for me to have, I'm very spontaneous, my spontaneous travels. And I've done that, signed with the right teams, with the right family, where I fit the most, and have used that to do the international football in a bigger way that no one's ever done it like before. And like in Korea, like there hasn't been imports. I was like one of the first in a very long time, if there's been any out there playing in Korea. So when I was there, it was such an amazing time. Actually tore my hamstring while I was there, tried to come back a month and a half later. And I tore my hamstring that game, actually. After the touchdown, we were winning we were winning 34-0, and coach wanted to score again, and they had me run like 4 verticals, 4 streaks, 4 goes. And on the fourth one, my hamstring popped.
Oh man!
And I thought I just pulled it, man. Next day in Tokyo, I left to Tokyo the next day. Couldn't move my leg. It was swollen. It started getting purple as the week went on. I just thought it was a bad pull. Then I tried to come back for the last game of the season because the games are so spread out. It was weird. And I came back for the last game of the season. I only played the first half because they triple covered me. And then I couldn't do anything. And so I was like, my hamstring started getting tight. And I was like, I don't want to tear it, like pull it again. So I stopped. When I got here to France, the physio was checking me out and working with me. And he was like, there's no way you can play right now. If you play right now, you're gonna tear your hamstring.
Yeah.
And I showed him pictures of the hamstring after like during Korea and Tokyo, and he was like, "You definitely tore it back then. It wasn't a pull."
You just didn't know it, huh?
I didn't know. I came back to try to play a month and a half later, and it was crazy.
Yeah. When I tore mine, I mean, it was like a month of just misery, man. I mean, just to do the littlest of things
for a month. Yeah.
Just getting out of bed, put your pants on, taking a dump. I mean, you realize how hard it is to do anything when that hamstring is torn. But man, that's amazing. You still came back from it. But here, I want to play a couple of clips that you sent me from your current team in France. Just talk me through what you see here.
Thibaut Méjean qui décide de transmettre plein centre sur Rudy.
Oh yeah, he did not want to smoke. I lowered my pads. I wanted a touchdown so bad. Oh, he did. That safety did not want the smoke.
We got the little France commentary in the background too.
Oh yeah,
that's cool to hear just the international flavor of the game.
Yeah, that's my first game. My first game here after rehabbing my hamstring for like a month. I'm still not 100%, but I'm good enough to play. And so I'm out here, just running the ball. I had like 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. I was just breaking a lot of tackles, running through people, stiff arming people, running through people. Yeah, that was a really good game, man. There was no other running backs. Everyone was hurt.
Oh, so you were kind of it. You were the workhorse.
I was the workhorse. Yeah, I was it. I actually fumbled there and picked up the ball again.
And scored.
Yeah, that was crazy. And so yeah, that was such a fun game. I ran the ball 21 times.
Wow.
I had never touched the ball more than like 8 times in a game.
Yeah, you were the workhorse that day.
So that was so fun. I had never ran the ball like I'm like throwing people off of me. I'm like breaking tackles. Yeah, right here. Look at this stiff arm right here. I literally threw him in the air.
Oh, I see it.
And I tried to spin and score, but my lineman grabbed me right here. I jumped into the end zone. I jumped to see a crease and I dove. I told you, within 3-4 yards, I'm diving.
Yeah.
Every single time. So, yeah.
Did you ever do the backflip celebration in any of your touchdowns in any game, or did you never actually do it?
I never got to do it, man. I never got to do it, yeah.
Well, there's still time, right?
No more backflip. Bro, I've had 2 knee surgeries. I'm not doing
yeah. So that'd be a bad look. You do a backflip and then come lip you off the field. Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I love this team so much. These French players. The French league is good. We got some ballers on the team. We got a receiver, Saïd. Thibaut, our quarterback, he's French. That dude can sling the ball. Receiver, man, that dude. They call him their Justin Jefferson. He's every bit of that. He is so good. He can go back to the States and play some serious ball.
Wow.
If he really wanted to. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Playing
well,
overseas.
Before we get to your last, I guess this is now the future for your next stop after this. A couple of questions from the chat, or one from Kickoff. He's been watching this whole time. It says, Rudy, what would you compare your NFL comparison to on the field? So I guess like who would you sort of model what you're like to a current NFL player? I think is the question.
I've gotten comparisons to Christian McCaffrey, CMC. I would say probably that'd be kind of the closest, yeah. Because we're about the same size. He's bigger, but we're like the same height. He's a little bigger, and as far as running style, it's probably like that. Yeah, more straightforward. Always trying to fight for extra yards. I wish I was like Marshawn Lynch, but he's just
a
beast
tank.
mode, man.
Yeah.
He's different.
Who was your hero growing up?
My hero?
Like what player did you look up to and go, man, I want to be like that guy? You must have somebody. Lynch?
Barry Sanders. I always loved running back. I used to watch Barry Sanders highlights since I was young. Like on the computer in elementary, like I'll watch Barry. I was like, I never thought I would be a running back, but I always imagined myself running the ball. That was always when I would run the ball in recess. I was like I was breaking tackles, making people miss. I was always like that. So now doing that in real life, I'm really living like little me's dream.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so as we're getting close to the wrap up here, so tell me about your next journey. You say you're going back to Mexico to play on another team. So what team is that, and what's that going to look like for you?
Yeah, so when my French season's done, I'm flying back to the States, and I'm going to Mexico to Monterrey to play in the LFA, the Liga Fútbol Americano, for the big league they have there, and a lot of former NFL players actually play out there, man. Former Seahawks quarterback plays out there. He was number 2 for a preseason game, scored a touchdown for us. Way back, maybe.
Question. Wait, how a backup quarterback?
Backup quarterback playing the preseason, won a preseason game in 2018, 19, I want to say. Maybe, around there. Maybe 17.
Was he an African-American guy?
Yes. He was a black quarterback.
Okay. I think I know who it is, but I can't think of the doggone name right now. He was a pretty athletic dude, right?
Super athletic, ran the ball really well.
Did he play other positions too? He could play other positions besides quarterback? Or is he just strictly quarterback?
Receiver? But he was strictly quarterback. Quarterback.
Okay. Oh, so he's in that league too.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in that league. I think this is his last year playing. I think he said it was going to be his last year playing. So he plays for maybe the Gallegos. But it's a huge league, a lot of former NFL talent, a lot of Chad Ochocinco actually played for my team when he retired from the NFL.
Oh, really?
He played for the Monterrey Fundidores.
Wow.
We just switched to the Osos. And this team's been recruiting me, trying to get me to play out there for the last 2 years. But I decided to play in Norway instead of Monterrey because it's 3 hours away from back home. I want to travel the world instead of, playing. For me, playing in Mexico, it's one of the biggest leagues in the world. It's probably the most competitive league in the world, internationally, next to like the X League in Japan. Most amount of imports, a lot of former NFL players, a lot of XFL, USFL, all these spring leagues. A lot of those players play in the LFA, and are very, very good. And a lot of Division I players play out there, and so it's a very, very good league. But for me, football is like travel the world and play football. I wanted to play in Norway. I want to play here. I want to play there. So when the GM, he messaged me, he called me when I was on vacation in Rome. One of my bye weeks, I went to Rome, and he called me and he was like, "Hey, we want to sign you. Are you still available to play for us?" I'm like, "I'm in France. I could play after if I don't know when season ends, because if we make playoffs, then we can go all the way till June 21st, and then I would only be able to play like a game or two for them in their playoffs. So, or like the last season game, final season game, and then playoffs." And he was like, "Because I don't count as an import for them because I'm Mexican." So,
okay.
It's like, yeah. So for them, he was like, "Well, we could always use depth at running back, and we'll pay you and take care of you, pay for your everything." So I was like, "Hey, if that's the way I go to play in Mexico, then I'll play." And so whenever my season finishes here in France, I'll go straight to go play in Mexico for the Monterrey Osos, and a very good team. Our quarterback and receivers are insane. Shelton Epler is a crazy good quarterback. He played at I forgot what school he played for, but he's a very good quarterback. He's been leading the league in passing the last couple of years. Then we have a receiver, Justice. We have like the best receiver in the LFA, and then the second best receiver in the LFA on the same team. So it would be amazing to play for those guys and be on the same offense. Such a explosive, prolific offense. And Yeah, I've been in contact with them, and I signed the deal, and so now I'm gonna go out there when my French season finishes, and then I'll go back to play for Korea in the fall because I loved it out there. So I'm gonna go back and play for the Phoenix. And,
Okay, so you're not just set with one team. You've got still other
everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now with Mexico, is it like a 1 year at a time kind of deal, or how?
Yeah, internationally is a 1 year contracts. Yeah, because so much can happen in a year when it's for the international leagues. So yeah, international, and then I know with the LFA with Mexico, it's like you have the option to re-sign for the next year. So it's yeah, we'll see how that goes. I would love to play Mexico more, but it falls in the seasons of other seasons, and I like next year I want to play in Sweden. That was in Australia. Yeah, that's when I'm coaching. You can see me my hair was so long there. It's getting there right now.
You're coaching and playing, or just coaching here?
That's what I tore my ACL, so I was just.
Oh,
coaching.
That's right. That was the injury. Okay, gotcha.
And then number 6 right there with the cowboy hat. That's Clark Hazlitt, adventure athlete. Shout out Clark, my roommate, big YouTuber. So he shows more of the international scene on his YouTube channel too. Great guy, great quarterback. It was really cool to. I used to watch him on YouTube. We end up randomly being roommates and teammates.
Wow, that's wild. Now, was this like some kind of a playoff or championship game? It seems like a pretty big deal here. You guys is this like a trophy or something? This shovel, or is this something else?
It's for like big plays. I forgot exactly what it is. This was actually the first game of the season.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's like a game ball type of award kind of thing, right?
Yeah, internationally, the passion for football is insane. We take pictures after every game.
Okay.
Because they just love it so much. It's like memories. So in Korea, we did the same thing. It's here in Clermont.
This is your current team right now in France.
Yeah, it's my current team.
Dragonball.
There's a Dragonball celebration right there.
How about this? I didn't know what picture this was from.
Norway.
It's from Norway. Yeah. Okay.
That's my old quarterback, my Swedish quarterback Victor. And amazing guy. I visited him in Sweden. I visited him in Austria when he was playing out there. He won the Austrian D2 championship. So that was really cool to watch. Great quarterback. That's me in Korea.
Oh, this is Korea too. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see, I think that was it for the photos. Okay, so with this upcoming league and just you speaking about the talent and a lot of the guys who have been in the NFL, is this going to be the most competitive division?
By far, yes. By far, the most competitive league. The competition is insane, actually. I mean, I'm going to be playing against, some pretty big DNs, DTs, linebackers, big safeties, big corners.
So you're really going to be tested here.
I'm gonna be tested, and I'm coming off of a 6-month French season. I'm banged up. It's gonna be interesting.
How much time do you have between the end of the French season to the start of this one? Do you have much time in between to kind of pause to recoup?
I think I'll probably rest for like a week.
That's it.
It's gonna be tough, man.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Because my last game is May 10th. They start May 3rd. Is their first game.
Oh, so it's actually overlapping.
It overlaps, yeah. So I thought, and the GM knew that, which is why I'm only going to show up for like probably just June, like the second half of the season. Yeah, or well, it depends. If we make the playoffs and we make it past the first round in France, which hopefully we do, but that would make me only be able to play a game or two in Mexico.
Oh, I see. Okay,
which is okay. Because 1, I got to play in Mexico. I got to experience that. I could always play there again. 2, I got to help them, and they're probably going to make the playoffs with the team they have. They have like what their All-American would be. Their linemen. They have like 3 out of the 5 is like all Mexican or all whatever, all FA, all LFA All Stars. Yeah. I think it's like the center, the guard, the tackle, and so they got a really good O line, which I'm really excited to play under.
Yeah.
Amazing quarterback, amazing receivers. I mean, that type of offense, it's like going to the Chiefs, man. You know, it's like going to
Or the Eagles.
a prolific offense. Or the Eagles, yeah. It's like so,
update the reference now.
Yeah,
Hoop Craze
yeah.
wants to know, what was your favorite country to play in?
Ooh,
If you had to choose
so
one,
hard.
like, okay, you can only play one this year. Like, what would it? Obviously not.
that's so they're all so good in different reasons, in different
Yeah.
ways. If I had to choose to play, just if I had to choose just one,
Only get one.
probably France. Probably France.
Where you are now.
right now. Yeah, this team's
of
amazing.
what? Just the team.
The team's amazing. The physio's amazing, and he's a player. Our head coach is also our right tackle. It's crazy, and they're an amazing team, amazing people. I'm able to communicate with them more. Like Korea was hard to communicate. There's like almost zero communication.
Just a language barrier.
The language barrier, yeah. Most of them didn't speak English.
Right.
So Tae-young, Kim, I call him Kim, but everyone's Kim in Korea.
Right. It's like Johnson Smith over there, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, go Kim, and everyone turns around. I'm like, oh, my Kim. I'm like, my Kim, Tae-young. So Tae-young was the person who like took care of me if I needed anything out there. He was like the import guy, and he took care of me out there. And he spoke the most English, very very amazing English. It was like I was back home. And then the quarterback was 40 years old. The guy you saw throw the ball, he was 40 years old.
40, jeez. Okay.
I had no idea. And he ran the ball like Johnny Manziel. Was insane. I had no
Really?
idea. When I found out he was 40, I was like, there's no way, bro.
Wow, fountain of youth.
And so the quarterback spoke English, and then the slot receiver spoke English, and then Kim Tae-young spoke English.
Did most of the other
So-
countries speak English besides Korea? Actually, I know in Korea there's not a whole lot of English-friendly stuff, but in most other countries, English is pretty
Norway
common.
they speak
So,
English.
so
Yeah,
you didn't have that
Norway-
much of a language barrier anywhere else?
No. Spain. I speak
Norway,
Spanish. I'm Mexican.
Spain. Oh, do you speak Spanish? I assume you do, right?
Yeah.
Because of your background. So you
Yeah.
know, no problem there. And then in France, they
France-
speak pretty good English, right? Most people do.
It's like in between. I'm also like in the mountains and stuff, but I don't understand the plays. The French accent, even if they say it in English, I don't understand anything.
So when you're in the huddle, they're calling these plays in
yeah.
French, right? So how do you even
Oh,
figure out what they're talking about?
So every once in a while, so by now I know like a certain word means whatever the play is, ISO or pop, play action pass, or if I hear China, I know what route I have. I hear like certain things, I know what I do.
Man,
The only problem is I don't know which way I'm going because I still don't know like the numbers in French. It's hard to understand. So my quarterback he told me, you're going this way, you're going that way.
that's a
In
unique problem you don't normally
Korea-
have to think about.
In Korea, the quarterback also was like, "Hey, you're doing this," or my slot receiver would be like, "You're running a 3 or a 6."
So
I knew
they
that
help you
route.
out. They know you got the language barrier, so they give you a little cheat sheet or whatever.
Yeah.
Little hint. That's pretty hilarious.
And then Norway, it was in English because my quarterback was Swedish. They were Norwegian. It's similar but not the same. And then it's easier if everyone like Norwegians. They grew up speaking English in school.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hoop Craze,
Swedish.
they asked the other question. He wants to know which country has the best food.
oh, hey man, Korea. That
Korea?
Korean barbecue is insane.
Oh, I love Korean barbecue. Yeah.
That Korean barbecue is so good. But French food is so good too. Oh my, I've been having so much good French food. A lot of cheese.
Of course.
A lot of a lot of different meats. It's been also good. Spanish food. The Asturias food in the north of Spain, the cachopo, it was so good. Oh, I love traveling for so many reasons. This is why, like, I do what I do. It's like I gotta experience things. I gotta eat all these different foods and meet all these people and travel around and just crazy experiences. I've gone to Formula One races. I've gone Taylor Swift. I've seen Olivia Rodrigo. I've seen Gracie Abrams
in other countries.
Sabrina
Right?
Carpenter. Yeah, in other countries. I've gone to pet lions in Dubai. I've like so many things.
Man,
I'm going to the track.
Now it's trying to find a list of countries you haven't been to. I think is now the harder part. I got to see for the first time. You mentioned Singapore. I went there for the first time on a family trip. We just went on and during the over the holidays. Taiwan as well. We went on a cruise, 2-week Asia cruise. So I got to see a bunch of places that I hadn't been to yet. So I know that special feeling when you get to go see a place that you go, I don't know how many times I'm going to get to be on this side of the world. So you gotta kind of just soak it in while you can, even if it's just for a quick day. But yeah, well, as we're starting to wrap to the end here, there are a couple of things I wanted to make sure I ask you about. So with football, obviously, you know that it's a limited time span. What are your plans when football is done and you've finally made the decision to hang up your cleats? Do you know what you're going to do after this, or are you still kind of just living in the moment and waiting to see what happens? Or do you have kind of a plan B after football?
So as of right now, I want to play for another 2.5 years, right? 2 years. I want to play till I'm 30. I'm turning 28 May 17th. So I'm about to turn 28. I want to play till I'm 30. And if I can stay healthy, play till I'm 30, play for other countries and keep doing what I do, I'll hang up the cleats and be very happy. I played 5 years internationally as a professional, which is longer than a lot of people play any type of football, especially
as a running back, because it seems like 30 is that year that when running backs tend to like drop off, right? So if you can get to 30, it's amazing. And
so, especially with all the traveling, I'm playing multiple seasons a year. You know, it's not like I'm just playing one season and stopping. No, I'm milking my body for as much as it can.
You put some mileage.
I'm putting a lot of mileage. And so when I'm done, I just start a family, man. I just want to, you know, hopefully I'm talking to someone right now and we'll see where that goes. And maybe by the time, it's very hard with what I do to have a significant other, unfortunately, with all the traveling and everything. But hopefully, I can hear you.
Yeah, because you definitely aren't going to be home much. That would be tough to have a very understanding significant other, if that's the case. So you are kind of, so you're talking to somebody. You're not dating, just in that getting to know phase is what you're saying?
It's dating, getting to know. It's hard because I'm leaving Europe soon, right? I'm still in France. It's easy when things are. Europe's so cheap to travel. For $15, I could travel to Milan from France.
Right.
It's not like the US. You know, it's like $30. I can go from here to there. For $100, I can fly to Dubai.
Well, everything's so close together, right? So it's
yeah. So it's all 2-hour flights, 1-hour flights, and so I am like I'm talking to someone, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I was talking to someone last year, and it just didn't work out because I had to leave to go play football, and it's hard. Distance is hard. It's hard what I do. I travel a lot. But if someone's willing to make it work, and, you know, I do 30, 31, I will hang up the cleats if I'm healthy, because I want to be able to run around with my kids in the future, and I want to start a family. And so hopefully I stay healthy. I play for a couple more countries. I want to play in Sweden. I want to play in Portugal. I want to play in Italy. I want to play in Brazil. And, you know, it's a lot of countries now, a lot of time. So I'm trying to compile, because a lot of seasons internationally, depending where it's at, they play at different points of the year. And so I want to play in Germany. So, so I want to play in a few more different countries. And maybe if I do just like when I decide to retire and start a family, if there's a country that reaches out, maybe then they need someone for the end of their season, I could always come out, because I want to marry someone that's in Europe, to have a dual passport, set my kids up for the future as well.
Okay.
Give them more opportunities to either compete for a different team, let's say boxing or football.
So you just broke the hearts of millions of females in the United States with that statement right there.
I mean, look, you never know.
Only
right?
European. If you're not European, don't bother applying. I'm swiping left. If you're not
European or Scandinavian, you know, it's not going to work. No, but it's like, you never know. I'm open to anything, but it's in a perfect world, I'd be with a European and a Scandinavian descent. So
yeah, okay. What about So that's cool. You have kind of like your next stage of your familia life. What about you as a profession? Have you thought much about career wise what that looks like after football?
The data collection, what I do, is a very good job. I could do it from anywhere in the world. So
you kind of already have a step in that something you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
slide right to if you have to. This is you're already doing it, right?
Yeah. So when I'm done playing football, I'm definitely gonna start pretty much building for my future, doing that, and still traveling. I'm not gonna stop. I got the travel bug, man. There's no
Oh
way I can
yeah.
stop traveling.
After you've seen this much, I mean, now you got to just start crossing every continent. It
That's what
sounds
I'm
like the only
saying.
continent you haven't been to is Africa. Or have you?
I've been in Africa.
Oh, never
I
mind.
have.
Oh, okay. No,
Morocco.
I know what continent you haven't been to.
Antarctica.
You haven't been to Antarctica yet, or have you?
But I have not. My mom
Okay.
doesn't let me go. She said you cannot go without me.
Oh,
I just realized that's the only one I haven't been to. Yeah.
yeah, because you've been to
She's like, you cannot
Australia,
go
you've been to
without me.
Africa, you've been to Europe, you've been to Asia,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
South America.
So, Antarctica
Man.
is the last thing.
That's amazing. Well, two questions I got to ask you since you've kind of talked about the future. Let's see. Do I want to go deep? No, listen, people have been asking. They want to know what you think about the draft. We're going to pivot really hard to the Seahawks here. And I asked you before, off the record, before this. I said,
need
you're
a
still keeping
line
up with the
there.
team, man. So, the draft
We
is
need a
tomorrow
line.
night.
We need a line.
Yeah.
We need we've had so much trouble. You know this. We've had so much trouble with the O line. We can't. Doesn't matter who we have back there at quarterback, if we can't protect the quarterback.
Or running back, right? I mean, you're a
Or
running back.
Exactly.
How does that
When I
feel when
run
you
the
know your
ball-
line sucks? I don't know if you ever played behind a line that sucks, but I'm sure
We played
there's a big
against
difference between a good and a bad one.
D-line. We played a very good D-line my last game. I'm a little banged up right now because the last game we had, we played a good D-line, and our O-line we just didn't play good. Like as a team, and our O-line just played less than what how good they can play. And as soon as I got the ball, there was someone in my face. Literally, I'm not even
That
exaggerating.
sounds familiar. Yeah.
So it's crazy because I as soon as I get the handoff, I'm like someone in my I can't do anything. Like there's no I can't, and there's more than one person, and so like it's hard, man. It's hard as a running back if you don't have a line, you don't have holes, you're indecisive. Then you start getting indecisive, you start thinking too much, and as a running back, you can't think. It's a reactive position, you know. So, as a quarterback, we want to get the ball to JSN. And it's very hard to see Metcalf and Lockett not on the team. And
Yeah, somebody asked
Geno-
about that Geno too. So somebody asked what you thought about
Geno
or
was a
agreed
good
with
quarterback,
that.
and I knew he was going to be good. I knew he was going to be good when he went in for Russell after for the Pittsburgh game. When he went in for Russell in that Pittsburgh game, and he did good, I was like, we can play with Geno Smith. Everyone was like, oh, Geno's not a good quarterback. I'm like, he went in, he lit it up. He did it good. He didn't do bad. I don't remember if we won or not. I don't think we
if
won
this is
that game.
that was a game
Close.
in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the game
close.
where he got sacked. He sacked fumbled, and then we lost the game. It was like, I don't know, it was overtime or last minute. I think it was
It was a close
overtime.
game.
Yeah,
But
it was
he-
over.
but
I think
he
it was
balled
overtime,
out.
and he got sacked, lost the ball, and we lost on a field goal or something. But yeah, heartbreaker. But he balled out. We should have
But
won
he
that
balled
game.
out, and so I knew he could play, but man, it's hard to be a quarterback if you don't have an O line. It is so hard. We need O line. I don't know if 18 is a good spot to get a game changer at O line, so that's kind of hard.
There's a lot of
But-
guys, though. I think from all the mocks that I'm seeing, there should be some really good O linemen available at 18 that could be like, game changing
I mean,
guys.
we need a tackle, don't we?
We need guards. And
We need
and,
guard.
and a,
Well, we need
and a
everything,
backup
right?
tackle, but really, our guards were the biggest issue last year. We had problems at both guard positions and center, for that matter, too. So you get center
Yeah.
snapping the ball over the quarterback's head, 50 yards behind him, and then he retires halfway through the season. I mean, it was a mess. The entire middle of the offensive line was a disaster last year.
We do still have a good offense. Which we cannot lose K9. Please, we cannot lose Kenneth Walker. I will be very sad.
You like
There's a lot
him
of room
as a
I
running
love
back.
Kenneth Walker. He's amazing. He's so good. He is so good. We cannot, after all the running backs we've had, and we've lost either to injury with Thomas Rawls,
Chris Carson.
Chris Carson. We had good running backs, man. We've had some really good running backs that just either have gotten hurt or have not worked out, and we need to give our quarterbacks also like. Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. He played very good with the Vikings, but they had a really good O-line.
They did.
That's what I'm
Much
worried
better than
about.
Seattle's. And they had, Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Not a bad receiver either.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
But we got JSN is really good too.
He is good.
So I'm excited, and we got Cooper Cup now.
Cooper
I'm excited
Kupp.
to see that.
I've heard both sides of the coin. People saying he's washed up. He's no good. He's the shell of what he used to be. Can't get open. What do you see?
Especially as a wide receiver too. Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver too. He can get separation. He can get contested catches. Like he's still good. He's still a good receiver. I'd say he's still got another 2-3 years left. He's been banged up. He got hurt. That's why Puka Nacua was doing his thing, and that's why they decided to go with him as wide receiver 1. But now they got Devontae Adams. Like, so that's crazy too.
I know.
This division is going to be insane again.
Well, the 49ers have definitely slipped a step. It'll be interesting to see if they finally get the contract deal worked out for Brock Purdy. But man, they're like, it's like the cupboard's slowly emptying, and they're about to dump a whole bunch of money onto Brock Purdy. He's going to be this rich quarterback with nothing around him. But I don't know, I'm not breaking my heart for sure. But yeah, so I guess to answer that question, at 18, you're hoping the Seahawks will draft O-line?
O-line.
Oh, no doubt. Okay, all right. Well, we see. I have that. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, or if Shedeur Sanders slips to 18, maybe. I've heard people say this. I don't know what you think about Shedeur Sanders. I don't watch much college football.
Yeah.
What I've seen, I mean, it's hit or miss. Like, you really can't tell who's going to make it and who's not in the NFL, to be honest. I mean, you get an idea, but you never know.
Just because you get drafted in the first pick of the first round doesn't mean.
I mean, most people don't make it from the first
round. We see plenty of busts.
Yeah. But, I mean, I've heard Shedeur Sanders to the Seahawks. I've heard that before, in a couple different podcasts and mock drafts. And
Jackson Dart is another one that.
I've heard Jackson Dart.
I mean,
I guess it's. I mean, Sam Darnold's not the long time, term quarterback, but there's a very good, from what I've heard, there's a very good QB draft class next year.
Yeah.
So,
you got Manning's son coming out next year, supposedly.
That's gonna be crazy.
But unless the Seahawks completely suck this year, I don't think we're touching that. But I don't know. Hopefully we're not. Yeah. I guess there's two ways to look at it, but I don't like sucking for the draft. I don't believe in that philosophy.
Yeah,
but okay, so all right, so that's the draft. I guess last thing I want to ask you is just, with everything we've talked about, and I know a lot of younger kids watch the show. They might be in high school, maybe in college, or even younger than that. But what would be your, advice to anyone who's, they could be aspiring football players or just trying to figure out what they want to do, or looking for some motivation. What's kind of what have you learned through all this? You're 28 now, 27.
Yeah, 27 turning 28 in less than a month.
Yeah. So you're still relatively young, but you've also lived quite a bit and seen a lot. So what's your big advice to anyone? Kind of just your takeaway on how you lived your life to this point.
Chase your dreams. Dream big. Work hard. Chase your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you can't do something. I mean, I had a 0% chance of playing college football. I had a 0% chance of playing after that. And I'm just, I did everything because I wanted it more than anything in the world, more than anyone, out of everyone that played in my high school, all the star players, everything of South Texas, I'm the one who's gone the furthest. I'm the one who's had the biggest college career, gone the furthest, and just done the most. And, people look at me and like, how were you the one that did it? It's because I wanted it more than anyone. I wanted to chase my dreams and make it happen. And that's really what it comes down to. Hard work pays off. And you don't know when, you don't know how, but there's a lot of things to it. And you get the opportunity once, and you got to take advantage of it, because that opportunity might not come back around. So hard work pays off, chase your dreams, and do what you love and love what you do in life, and everything else will come along. I'm doing what I love with football. I'm loving what I do, and it's led me to live this crazy, adventurous life of football, traveling, and doing things in my bucket list of things I wanted to do in my life. And I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, man. It's crazy. Like I play football, then I'm traveling on my bye weeks to Brazil, playing in France, traveling to Indonesia, playing in Korea, traveling to Tokyo, playing on Pokemon World Championship Pokemon European Championship tournaments, like doing crazy things, flying straight to my game from the Pokemon European International Championships, balling out, and just doing what I do, man. It's just chase your dreams. Doesn't matter the amount of times that I've been told, like, you're not gonna do this, you can't do this, maybe you should hang it up, maybe you shouldn't be playing anymore. It's just never. The amount of times I've torn my ACL in college, torn the ACL after, and playing professionally and internationally. It just, how bad do you want it? There's always obstacles, there's always injuries, there's always something that comes along. How many times have you heard someone, your uncle tell you that they would have been a professional, but they tore their knee, or that one guy in high school? It's just, there's never been a plan B for me, man. It's always been, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna figure out a way, and no one's gonna believe in you more than yourself. And so if you believe in yourself with all your heart, no matter who says what, and you're working hard for it, and you're looking for the opportunity, because things do not come in life. Sometimes they do, but things usually do not just show up on your doorstep. You got to go look for them, and you got to be prepared for when you do get that opportunity that you've been looking for. And you do what you've been training for, and you chase your dreams. Whatever you want to do in life, it all applies. Hard work pays off, baby.
Well, this is why I brought you on the show, man, because I'd admire your story, and even more so getting to talk to you face to face about what you had to do to get to this point, overcoming some major odds. And here you are. It's like, what's cool about it is knowing that you're going to look back, when you're 50, 60, my age, and you're going to go, you know what? No regrets. It's like you lived your dream, and you won't be having to say, man, I wonder what would have happened if I had done this. You're not gonna have to say that.
I didn't want that. I didn't want that. What if I would have just tried? What if I would have done this? Why didn't I? You can't. I just couldn't bear the thought of having that thought in my mind in my deathbed, or in 50, 60 years, my deathbed, or whatever. Like, that drove me crazy, and I was like, I have to chase this. I have to give everything I got. If I don't make it, hey. I was doing great on YouTube. A lot of my friends, they got 1 million subscribers now. They're doing amazing with the Dragonball at the YouTube. I would have been there, but I wanted to chase I didn't chase the money. I chased my love, my dream. I wanted to play football, man. Whatever it took, I did it. Got it done. Yeah. Now I'm living it.
Yeah. You could have taken the safe, easy Disney gig that you had and said, this is pretty good. I'll just stay here. This is comfortable and safe. But you threw it away to chase something bigger, and what it's amounted to is amazing. So, again, Rudy Juarez, my guest here. Check out his socials at JrzSaiyan. You want to tell anybody about already what you got on your show, what they would expect to see if they check you out on Instagram or on YouTube? What do you have coming up, and what do you talk about in your channel?
So on Instagram, I share everything. The football, the travels, the random stuff I do, the Pokemon, anything that you can think of, I share on Instagram. YouTube, I'll be uploading my Korean vlogs soon, my French vlogs. It's all going to be kind of intertwined. Korean vlogs, French vlogs, the vlogs of like the Taylor Swift concert, of going to Tokyo, of doing this, doing that. So I'll be uploading a little bit of everything. And I'm a very multifaceted person. I do a lot of everything, so I got a lot of sides to me, so I really like that. And I want to show the world kind of like the life I live, that I've built for myself, and playing football at the same time.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, yeah, you guys should follow him. Obviously, just talking about it is one thing, but you can actually watch it straight from his channel and see his travels, his adventures, all this stuff right up there, up close and personal on his on YouTube and on Instagram. So, again, special thanks, man. I appreciate you doing this. Rudy Juarez, my special guest, man. Good luck with everything in the future. And we'll do this again sometime. I already saw Ilona, one of my longtime fans, on the chat say, you need to do more shows with Rudy. I like him. So, yeah, we'll check in again and see where we're at. But, man, I appreciate you taking a couple hours out of your day, as it turns out, to do this live stream, man. I was like, we'll be maybe 30 minutes, an hour, and I think we made this thing like Titanic long. But it went by in a flash.
Oh, yeah.
Pun intended. But thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Best of luck in
Man.
your upcoming season, the rest of your season in France, and your upcoming one in Mexico. And yeah, let's stay in touch. And I'd love to catch up with you again somewhere down the road and see where things are at for you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. You too.
All right. Rudy Juarez, my guest. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. Make sure you check out his channels, subscribe, follow him. Do the same with mine if you haven't already. And yeah, draft tomorrow night. I'll be live from the Seahawks draft party tomorrow evening to see what the Seahawks do at 18. Oh, offensive line, John Schneider. Let's do it. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Thanks, Rudy. And go Hawks.
Yo, I'm Ken Walker, running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf.
KJ Wright. Hey, Burrows. You're watching North Cam.
You're watching North Cam.